Baycats, but he's going to provide a huge spark for this team when they need it the most.
The fans excited to see him return to the lineup tonight. No question about that. As for the Barnstormers, a pretty respectable inaugural season. They finished just 2 games below 500. Question this season with a new manager is, can they build on that and take that next step forward here in 2025?
Well, it seems like this team is very confident. They know they've added a few pieces that have really going to give them a bit of a boost here in 2025, but their biggest piece that stayed on, Spencer Marcus, he's had a fantastic start to the season. 4 straight multi-hit games to start this year, all with RBIs, including that walk-off win in their last win a couple weeks ago.
Barnstormers and Baycats coming up next. Let's join our public address announcer now, Rob Daniels.
Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, welcome to Athletic Kulture Stadium for season number 24 of Barrie Baycats Baseball. It's Nido African Pack the Park night featuring the visiting Chatham Kent Barnstormers and your Barrie Baycats. Here are tonight's starting lineups. First for the visiting Chatham Kent Barnstormers, managed by Gil Rondon. Batting first, playing center field, number 19, Spencer Marcus. Batting second, the second baseman, number 44, Evan Morrison. Batting third at first base, number 33, Timmy Wagner. Batting fourth in left field, number 23, Braxton Hagen. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 45, Mitsuki Fukuda. Batting sixth at third base, number 4, Anthony Holloway. Batting seventh, the shortstop, number 3, Sadler Goodwin. Batting eighth in right field, number 25, Spencer Morin. And batting ninth, the designated hitter, number 27, Owen Constantino. On the mound tonight for the Barnstormers, number 14, Brock Whitson. And now, the starting lineup for your Barrie Baycats, managed by Josh Matlow. Batting first in center field, number 95. Welcome back, Noel McGarry Doyle. Batting second, the shortstop, number 11, Brandon Hernandez. Batting third at third base, number 29, Malik Williams. Batting fourth at first base, number 20, Nolan Makibroda. Batting fifth in right field, number 4, Willie Garcia. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 6, Tristan Clark. Batting seventh, the designated hitter, number 28, Noah Hull. Batting eighth, the catcher, number 44, Tyler Plumpton. And batting ninth, at second base, number 0, Francisco Hernandez. On the mound tonight for your Baycats, number 39, Cesar Rosado. Here are the umpires for tonight's contest. Calling the balls and strikes is Francesco DiBiase. At first base is Scott Costello. And handling third base is Scott Cameron. Fans, at this time, we ask you to please rise if you are able to and kindly remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem. Okay. Please welcome the Subi Fusion Troupe, a talented group of artists and cultural ambassadors. They are visiting from Uganda, representing the vibrant spirit of African music and dance. They will be performing both the Canadian national anthem and the Ugandan national anthem here tonight, which is a symbol of friendship and cultural exchange. So let's stand and join in as they lead us in song and set the tone for a night of celebration. It's Pack the Park. Take it away.
Oh, Uganda, may God uphold thee. We lay our future in thy hands. United, free, for we shall always stand upon our Africa's pride.
All right, fans, it's time for tonight's ceremonial first pitch. Throwing out the ceremonial first pitch tonight is Taiwo Martins, Program Development Lead at Nexum International Development Organization. Taiwo has played a key role in bringing this event to life, weaving together community, culture, and international exchange. Let's give a warm welcome as he takes the mound to mark the start of this special night. Taiwo, it is your pitch.
And on that opening toss, we are ready for the Barnstormers and the Baycats here at Athletic Kulture Stadium on this beautiful night and a celebration of athletic culture and tradition, and a wonderful evening so far with our friends from NIDO, Nexum International Development Organization. The first of 3 Pack the Park nights here at the ballpark that Baycats fans will get to enjoy through the 2025 season.
Yeah, it seems like this season, especially for fans getting the treat of some free baseball, it's really going to be key throughout the season. And for a team that like the Baycats are 0-3, they need the fans behind them as much as possible tonight.
Free baseball and a really entertaining pregame performance as well, featuring some African culture, music, and dance, and the fans really enjoying that as well. So we're ready for the first pitch. Let's get our starting lineup tonight. First for the Chatham Kent Barnstormers and manager Gil Rondon and Spencer Marcus, the leadoff man in center field, batting first. Evan Morrison at second base, batting second. Timmy Wagner is the first baseman, batting third. Cleanup man Braxton Haggith in left field tonight. Mitsuki Fukuda, the Japanese import, behind the plate, hitting fifth. Anthony Polowick is the third baseman, batting sixth. And the bottom third of the order is Sadler Goodwin at short, Spencer Morin at right, and Owen Constantino, the designated hitter.
And taking the mound for the Barrie Baycats, it's Cesar Rosado making his first start of the season. Just a couple innings this year so far, both in relief, and both haven't been that haven't gone that well for him. 2 earned runs in 2 innings, allowing 3 hits. But last year, coming off a fantastic IBL rookie year, leading the IBL in strikeouts with 105 and setting a Baycats franchise single-season record.
Our starting lineups, as always, brought to you by Sports Medicine, the official clinic of the Barrie Baycats. An overcast sky tonight. We've had a lot of rain over the last 24 hours. We'll see how that affects field conditions as we head through the game tonight, but would expect that grass to be a little bit on the slippery side tonight. Dirt is wet, but the rain has held off, and it looks like we might see some clearing skies as we head through the evening.
We saw it last Saturday, too, with a lot of the rain. The day before the game, you could see some of the drainage. You see where the grounds crew really had to do some work around the home plate and mound areas, but they've done a great job and ready for some baseball.
7:42, the time of our first pitch from Cesar Rosado tonight. Winds are calm. Pitch is high, and it's a 2-0 count. Rosado, the right-hander, working from the stretch. Takes a long look in for the sign from catcher Tyler Plumpton. Comes set, kicks and deals. And it's a called strike, 2-1.
Saw this a lot with Frank Garces last weekend against London, but Cesar Rosado kind of picking up along the same lines where he's really working very slowly to start off this game, and I imagine he's going to pick up the pace a little bit more throughout his outing.
Fouled over the screen, and the count is even 2-2. Couple of earned runs in 3 relief innings so far this season. The team leading 105 strikeouts last year for the Baycats. Has a 2-2 count here to the leadoff man, Spencer Marcus. Here's the pitch. On the ground, past the pitcher. It'll be Brandon Hernandez making the throw across in time for the out. 1 away here on the top of the first.
Let's give it the defense for the Barrie Baycats. In left field, Tristan Clark will get the start. He's moving over from center field, having those start in center the past 3 games. But in center now, Noel McGarry Doyle coming back to the IBL, his season debut. Willie Garcia is in right. On the infield, it's Malik Williams at third. The Hernandez brothers, Brandon and Francisco, at short and second base. Nolan Macabrota at first. And Tyler Plumpton getting his first start behind the plate this season.
Baycats fans got a look at newcomer Lelise Beltran for the first 3 games of this 2025 season. And he's behind on the first pitch, 1-0.
Yeah, so Tyler Plumpton getting the start tonight, and this is a key stretch for Barrie. 4 games in 4 days, so Josh Matlow knows that he's going to have to distribute the catcher innings throughout the weekend, a bit more evenly than you might see usually. So Plumpton will get the start tonight and on Saturday afternoon against Hamilton.
Yeah, definitely something you don't want to see in the schedule too much. 4 games in 4 nights. I can't remember that happening on the schedule last year, with the exception of possibly some rainouts that needed to be squeezed in, but these are 4 scheduled games.
And this is going to happen a couple more times this season.
A little flare over the shortstop. It's into left field for a base hit. The Barnstormers get a 1-out single off Cesar Rosado.
A little inside-out work there from Evan Morrison. Broke his bat on that play, but got enough of it get over the head of Brandon Hernandez, and first base runner of the game for Chatham Kent.
The first baseman, number 33, Timmy Wagner.
Baycats and Royals were rained out here on Thursday night last week, so that game has been rescheduled. And then just one other game last week for Barrie, which was when the London Majors were here on Saturday afternoon. So a bit of a light schedule to start, and now 4 games jammed into 4 nights this weekend for Barrie. 1 on, 1 out. Morrison, the runner at first. Pitch is inside. It's a number 3 hitter, Timmy Wagner.
I think that light schedule, Ben, is kind of put a wrench in maybe some of the plans that Josh Manlow had for the pitching, because it seems like Rosado would have had a start already this year had it not been for that rainout. They had to get those Dominican starters out and stretched out a little bit more all together in the same outings.
Throw gets by Macabrota, and moving up another 90 feet is Morrison, maybe more. He digs hard around second. Here's the throw in. It's late. And up to third goes Evan Morrison.
Seemed a little bit unnecessary there for Rosado to make the pickoff attempt so early in this game. You can tell already, we saw it in his last relief appearance against London, a little bit, stressed out by the base runners behind him, and even more so now with the runner on third.
Rosado definitely seems to pitch better when he just attacks the plate. Goes right after that strike zone. He's a power pitcher. He can run up the strikeouts. And Evan Morrison drawing a throw, and a Baycat error gets him 90 feet away from home plate. Another one high and in. Brushback pitch. 2-0 now. We're talking about the Baycats pitching in the London game. Josh Matlow using all 3 starters plus Carlos Sano in that game, being the only game of the weekend. He wanted to give all of them some innings.
That's what I was mentioning earlier. You understand that if there was that game against Guelph, you might have seen, again, Frank Garces, Juan Benitez kind of piggybacking off each other. That ended up being the four Dominicans, back to back to back to back, and not as much innings to kind of spread between the four.
Pot foul down the right field side, into the trees. It's a 2-2 count. Cleanup man on deck is Braxton Haggith. So a single and a two-base error gets Morrison at third. One out here on the top of the first as the Barnstormers look to strike first. The crowd behind Rosado with 2 strikes. He deals, and it hits him. 2 base runners for the Barnstormers here on the top of the first, and here comes the cleanup man.
Saw that pitch earlier in the at-bat. Rosado's getting a little bit too far in there on Wagner and cost him another base runner.
Well, he's fallen behind in the count on all 3 hitters he's seen so far and really trying to work that inside part of the plate. Unfortunately, he's been missing. And that one plugged Wagner right on the arm.
Noticed quite a bit in his last outing, mentioned last week against London. His release point is much lower than it seemed to be last year, and I wonder if that's a trend that might continue throughout this game or this season. Walks were a big issue for him last year, despite the high strikeout totals.
Just got a piece. He fouls it back, strike one. That's the first batter that Rosado has gotten ahead of on the first pitch in this inning. Well, it's one of those things with Rosado that you want to continually make those adjustments throughout the season to try to find that comfort spot. 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss. So it's an 0-2 count.
That's the pitch you want to see from Rosado. He's got to know that his defense behind him, you have one out runner on first. You can give up a ground ball. A double play is in order.
Runners lead. Morrison at third, Wagner at first. One out in the inning. Pitch from Rosado, and it's fouled away. Rosado, 28 years old, from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. One of 3 Dominicans in this 3-man pitching staff for manager Josh Matlow, along with Frank Garces and Juan Benitez. The right-hander looks in. No balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. On the ground, hit weakly, right side, and it's foul. The count will hold at 0-2.
A long looping curveball there from Cesar Rosado. Tried to get him with the breaking pitch. Seemed like last year his slider was really working for him. That was kind of his A pitch. Might start to see that again, still being 0-2.
Wagner's had a good lead at first. He hasn't made an attempt yet. We'll see if he gets the green light here on this 0-2 count. Haggith is ready, waggles the bat. Rosado with the 0-2. High and away as he wastes one and Haggith doesn't chase. A little surprised maybe we haven't seen Wagner attempt to steal here with the runner at third and one out.
I'm surprised a bit too. You might start to see him, if this count starts to develop a little bit more. But at least got a really good lead here. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes now.
You got a pretty speedy runner at third base. He does not go. Bounces up to the plate. Plumpton right there. Looks the runner back. Makes the throw anyways. It's low.
Surprised Plumpton made that throw because it looked like he was just trying to draw him back to the bag, not throwing it over to first to maybe try and get the out potentially there.
Yeah, it was a weak throw. I think he was just trying to get that runner back. It kind of looked like Wagner might force a throw down, like a strong throw to second and make it interesting.
He bluffed over to second. I'm surprised he didn't, make the commitment to go. It looked like he would have had the bag cleanly.
He was at least a third of the way down. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. Rosado trying to finish off Haggith here. One out in the inning. Runners lead. Wagner does not go. The pitch hits him. 2 hit batters in the inning. So not a great start to this ball game for Cesar Rosado. A hit from Morrison and then 2 hit batters. Wagner and Hageth back to back, and the bases are loaded.
Just not smart pitch selection there from Cesar Rosado. I'm not sure if didn't get a great look at what Plumpton was trying to call for him, but you know, with a 2-2 count, you got to stay away from the inside, especially on a fastball like that.
Mitsuki Fukuda, 5 hits in 4 games, 385 average coming into tonight.
Yeah, 4-game hit streak to start the season. The guy that was representing the Hamilton Cardinals in the All-Star game last year, he's off to a great start.
He's a fan favorite. Made only 1 error behind the plate all season. As reliable as they come defensively. Looking for a clutch hit here on the top of the first. Bases loaded, first pitch on the ground. Could be 2. To second for 1. To first, in plenty of time for the double play. 1 pitch by Cesar Rosado gets the double play to get the Baycats off the field with no damage done in the top of the first inning. The Baycats coming to bat with the Barnstormers retired. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie.
I'm Chrissy Fans from 400 Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Baycats starting lineup tonight brought to you by Sports Medicine, the official clinic of the Barrie Baycats. Noel McGarry-Doyle makes his return this evening. It's the leadoff man in center field. Brandon Hernandez at short, batting second. Malik Williams at third base bats third. The cleanup hitter is Nolan Macabrona at first base. Willie Garcia in right bats fifth. Tristan Clark, the rookie left fielder, hits sixth. In the bottom third of the order, Noah Hull, the DH, Tyler Plumpton behind the plate, and Francisco Hernandez in the number 9 spot.
Making the start for the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers, this is Brock Whitson. He's going to have a tough test right away with Noel McGarry-Doyle leading off.
And a lot of energy in this crowd tonight, welcoming back Noel McGarry-Doyle, who had an unfortunate injury near the end of the season last year, missed the playoffs. Baycats get him back here 4 games into the 2025 season. No one was quite sure what the future would be for him this season, but Baycat fans thrilled to have him back here. 2 balls, no strikes. Brock Whitson, the 23-year-old. With the pitch. And it's down the third baseline into left field for a base hit. McGarry-Doyle is thinking about 2. Up with the ball is Haggett. The throw, not in time. A stand-up double for Noel McGarry-Doyle.
What a start for Noel McGarry-Doyle. Real quick, we give you the defense for the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers. In left field making the play there, Braxton Haggett. Center field, it's Spencer Marcus. And Spencer Moore out in right field as well. Anthony Paulo getting the start at third base. Sadler Goodwin at short. Evan Morrison at second. Timmy Wagner Jr. getting the start at first base with Mitsuki Fukuda, defensive specialist, behind home plate.
Well, that is exactly what Josh Matlow wanted to see in the leadoff spot. McGarry-Doyle getting on base early in this ball game. Francisco Hernandez was the leadoff man, the newcomer for the season opener against Toronto 2 Thursdays ago. He went 1 for 5 in that leadoff spot. Brandon Hernandez, the brother of Francisco and the second-year Baycat, is batting second tonight at shortstop. So each team with a hit here in this first inning. Barrie looking to get on the board first. Left side and foul near the Barnstormer bullpen. If you're just tuning in, Cesar Rosado getting a clutch ground ball double play with the bases loaded and 1 out to escape any damage in the top half of this inning. Brock Whitson, the Chatham native, fields this one to the left of the mound, makes the throw in time. McGarry Doyle heads up 90 feet to third.
This first inning of play brought to you by Nido, changing the world through our initiatives.
And here comes big Malik Williams.
Third baseman number 35, Malik Williams.
So McGarry Doyle at third, 1 out. Williams to the plate. We'll step out and take a look around. Baycats wearing the Throwback Thursday Reds again here in 2025. A nod to the inaugural years of this franchise. Baycats celebrating 25 years in the IBL here in the year 2025. Wore these red jerseys for the first few seasons and then switched over to a navy blue home jersey with red lettering. This one on the ground is short. Goodwin has to make the throw to first. And in to score is Noel McGarry Doyle. It's 1-0 Baycats.
Looked like Goodwin on that play. He looked towards home plate. He would have had a chance at Noel McGarry Doyle, but taking the sure out at first base and conceding that opening run.
Nolan McNamara.
Early in the game, you want to avoid the big inning. Sometimes you'll see teams just concede that run, especially in the first inning. And now the bases are clear behind Brock Whitson for Nolan Macabroda. Rather have him come to the plate with the bases empty than a runner on, that's for sure.
Yeah, at the same time, I've mentioned this before, but for Brock Whitson, having no runners on behind you, that's just a not necessarily a confidence booster, but it's not nearly as stressful.
Whitson pitched 2 shutout innings of relief in the 2-1 win over Brantford on Saturday. He allowed just 2 hits in that game. 5-3, 4.04 ERA last year.
He's a very versatile pitcher. There were 6 pitchers on the Barnstormers last year with at least 1 win and 1 save, and he was one of them. Getting the win in his start earlier this year.
This one hit hard to center field. It's right at Spencer Marcus. He makes the catch, and that will do it, but the Baycats get on the board as Noel McGarry Doyle makes it a 1-0 Barrie lead through 1 here at Athletic Kulture Stadium. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Thinking about doing a renovation but don't know where to find the best prices and quality? Go to Reno Liquidation Depot, where you'll find vanities, flooring, toilets, exterior doors, and so much more. Visit Reno Liquidation Depot today.
Step up to the plate at Park Place. The latest fashion, delicious dining, exciting entertainment. Hungry after the game? Stop by one of their patios or grab a sweet treat for a grand slam of flavors to satisfy every craving. Park Place, where every visit is a home run. The only North Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield.
Baycats with a 1-0 lead over the Barnstormers after 1 here at Athletic Kulture Stadium as we say good evening to our sideline reporter, Matty Gale.
Wearing number 95, Noel McGarry-Doyle is a pivotal part of the Barrie Baycats lineup, and tonight for Pack the Park, it's his first game back. A former All-SAC first team and NCAA All-America third team selection in 2023. He has an impressive track record, and McGarry-Doyle is already proving to be a key piece for Barrie with his big return first bat ending with the first run for Barrie. Noel was very focused in BP pregame, but I'm sure post-game we'll hear how he felt about that successful return.
Thank you, Maddie. McGarry-Doyle along with Canisijo, arguably the best 1-2 punch in the IBL last season. Those two are absolutely dynamite at the top of the order for Barrie.
It seemed unfair to have Canisijo lead off and have Noel McGarry-Doyle in that number 2 spot. Two offensive powerhouses for Barrie early on last year when they were both in the lineup together.
So with Noel McGarry-Doyle back, Nolan Macabrota back, Malik Williams back, you're pretty much looking at most of last year's championship team back here in 2025 with the exception of Canisijo.
Yeah, we haven't even got to Noah Hull yet, who's making his season debut as well. And he hit well over 300 last year and was 2 for 2 in the playoffs as well in his limited time.
And having those returning players certainly takes a little bit of pressure off some of the newcomers who have struggled overall through the first 3 games, by and large.
And that's the hope for Josh Matlow. A lot of lineup shuffling, as we mentioned earlier. You know, he's back on the top step of the dugout tonight after missing the last couple games. Had to finish out a suspension that started last year.
Anthony Poluik with a 3-1 count here against Cesar Rosado. Rosado had some trouble in the top half of the first inning, got out of it with a 6-4-3 double play off the bat of Masuki Fukuda.
You mentioned it right off the air, or when we got off the air. That was exactly what Cesar Rosado and the Baycats needed in that exact moment.
He could use a low pitch inning here in the second. The 3-2 count. Pitch to Poluik. Hit weakly. Back to Rosado, who loses his cap, makes a throw, and pulls the first baseman Macabrota off the bag, but he keeps his foot on there. And they record the out. A little bit of a high throw. Pitchers often surprisingly struggle with what looks like an easy throw coming off the mound. And you saw Rosado there being very careful not to uncork a wild one.
Well, he got a wild one on a pickoff attempt in the first inning, too. So maybe that was racing through his mind a little bit, trying to slow his pace down, making that throw to first, because it can definitely trip pitchers up because their motion is entirely different on those kind of plays.
Yeah, it's just not a play that they have to make often throughout the course of a ball game. It's a little bit different than a routine ground ball to the other infielders. Hey, first pitch strike to Sadler Goodwin, the shortstop. So the Barnstormers with a new bench boss this year. It's 71-year-old Gilberto Rondon, who we got a chance to say hello to in front of the Barnstormers dugout before the game. He was part of the coaching staff last year in Chatham, Kent, and he takes over as field manager this year in 2025.
He's also down the field. He's the first base coach tonight.
Dan Norman was the manager here for Chatham Kent in their inaugural season. And Rondon has a very interesting career. He pitched in the major leagues for 2 seasons. He was with the Houston Astros in 1976 and the White Sox in 79. Ground ball to second. That one pulls off Macabrota. He is out as he was able to somehow keep his foot on the bag. That long reach of Macabrota being tested at first.
Well, call on the field is out, and there's not going to be much of an argument there from Gilberto Rondon at first base, but it definitely looked like that throw brought him off the bag from my view. Maybe Francisco Hernandez getting away with one, but the umpires are going to come together and discuss this.
It's Francesco DiBiase, the home plate umpire. The first base ump is Scott Costello, who was right there and got a good look at that play. Scott Cameron is the third base ump, and we'll see if one of the other 2 umpires maybe saw something different as they'll talk this over. Definitely looked close. Macabrota had a stretch, whether that foot was on the bag. Goodwin coming down that line in a hurry. It was a close call, and it looks like it'll stand.
Yeah, the throw from Francisco Hernandez, second baseman, kind of trailed Macabrota over towards the home plate side of first base.
And DiBiase put his hands down, and I think Goodwin thought he was calling him safe, but he was just saying the call stands. Goodwin started to take a few steps back towards first. Yeah, you don't usually see the umpire make that sort of signal, because that basically was a safe call, but he was saying the call stands. Of course, we don't have video review here in the IBL, but the umpires will gather on a close call like that from time to time. So 1 ball, no strikes to Spencer Morin.
Morin's had a strong start to the year as well. Walks and hits in all 4 games to start the year for Chatham-Kent.
And that one bounced up, and I think it hit him in the leg. I just missed him, I guess. It looked like it might have caught a piece of him on the way by, but count is 2-0.
Rosado really playing with fire here on those inside pitches.
Inside, and that one bouncing up to the plate. 2-0 pitch. Just missed. Not by much, and he's behind 3-0. So Gil Rondon, the manager and first base coach here tonight, pitched in 23 Major League ball games with the Astros and the White Sox. 2022, he managed the Empire State Grays of the Frontier League. Lots of great baseball stories. He's been around baseball all of his life.
He was also a coach for Puerto Rico in the 2009 World Baseball Classic.
I did not know that. Swing and a miss. 3-2. His last Major League Baseball game was September 29th, 1979 at Comiskey Park. And of course, because we're baseball geeks, we looked up the box score. It was a 9-2 White Sox loss to the Seattle Mariners. He pitched 2 2/3 innings of relief. Swing and a miss. Strike 3, and the Baycats are off the field. So 3 up, 3 down. Go the Barnstormers in the top of the second. It's a 1-0 Barrie lead through an inning and a half. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Highview Contracting Group in Barrie and Simcoe County, offering award-winning hardscape, interlocking, pools, excavation, and more. Call 705-985-7669 or highviewcontracting.ca.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Danielle May Real Estate, supporting the Barrie Baycats and ready to help with all of your real estate questions. What is your home worth? Should you sell now or wait? Danielle is dedicated to your success. The next time you think real estate, think Danielle May.
Programming prizes. You can claim your prize at the front gate of the ballpark at the Baycats merch booth. Congratulations.
It is off. Welcome back to Athletic Kulture Stadium in the second inning of play, brought to you by Nido, changing the world through our initiatives.
Willie Garcia, another former Chicago White Sox, comes to the plate for the Baycats here in the bottom of the second inning with Barrie on top 1-0. Each team with a hit, but the Baycats striking first. A double by Noel McGarry-Doyle, coming home on a couple of ground balls to give Barrie the early lead here tonight. Barnstormers wearing the road black jerseys with the beige or off-white pinstripes. Starting to become a bit of a popular look. I noticed the London Majors had a very similar uniform on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, but at least for London, it's more of an alternate for them. It's not something they wear on the road every game. For Chatham-Kent, this is their regular away jersey.
This one hit hard to left field. It's a base hit. Willie Garcia is aboard to lead off the bottom of the second. And here comes Tristan Clark. Also very resemblant of the Chicago White Sox Southside City Connect jerseys and pants, which have that pinstripe. And we were talking to Gil Rondon, and he said he likes these a lot more than he likes the White Sox jersey that he had to wear in 1979. The V-neck with that big flare collar.
Yeah.
And I believe they even wore shorts that season as well.
Yeah, he was telling, they wore shorts that year. Definitely a different time for baseball attire, that's for sure.
Something you will never see in Major League Baseball again, at least as long as we live. This one hit high and deep to right center field. No wind here tonight. It'll drop against the base of the wall. Extra bases for Tristan Clark. Willie Garcia will get the stop sign at third. So 2 Baycats on here in the bottom of the second.
That is absolutely huge for those 2 guys to get hits back-to-back starting this inning. Willie Garcia had only had 2 hits through the first 3 games. Tristan Clark just 1. So maybe the lineup shifting for Josh Matlow is getting these guys going. Obviously, it's sending a message to this team already.
Noah Hull comes to the plate. His first at-bat of 2025 for Barrie. He's excited to be back. I was chatting with his dad, Mike, before the game tonight. He's here to watch Noah in his 2025 debut with the Baycats. First pitch swinging, he fouls it off.
Hall, he's the guy that started last year when he got to Barrie. He struggled a little bit, especially defensively. He had a game where the 3 errors at third base, but he really settled in nicely throughout the rest of the season, hit well over 300 in the playoffs. He was very reliable in that first-round series against Toronto. Didn't fail to be he wasn't put out at all by Toronto, that's for a matter of fact.
So back to our talk about uniforms. If a team in the IBL were to decide to go with the shorts, which team do you think would be the first to go for that look?
I'm not sure.
I could see the Welland Jackfish trying that one.
Yeah,
Left field line, it'll drop. Bounces into foul territory, could be extra bases for Hull. A couple of runs will score. Hull holds up at first. Baycats on top by a score of 3-0.
Well, it's something Barrie hasn't had all season long thus far. 3 players all getting base hits to start an inning.
We're trying to have these interesting conversations, and the Baycats keep interrupting us with offense. I'm sure Josh Matlow doesn't mind. Big hit for Noah Hull in his first game back. So Garcia and Clark score. Hull picks up 2 RBIs in his first plate appearance. And looking the runner back.
Yeah, that looked like a pitch out there from Whitson, and Fukuda has a great arm. He definitely could have made an attempt at first base, but Hull sliding in nice and early. He is a bit of a threat to steal. He is a bigger guy, but he does have some speed.
Wasn't taking a very big lead on that last one. Let's see if he takes a bigger lead here. And he goes, and it's a bunt. Back to the mound. Whitson with the play to first in time. So they get the sure out. 1 down in the inning. Hold a second.
Number 0, Francisco Hernandez.
So the Baycats looking with some aggressive offensive play here in the first couple innings. Barnstormers playing a lot more conservative, just going for the sure outs. A runner in scoring position now. Francisco Hernandez in the number 9 spot here tonight. Breaking pitch for a called strike. Well, the reason I said the Welland Jackfish is it kind of would maybe look like something Ryan Harrison would wear, the short pants,
Fair.
Yeah.
They're a very experimental team. They're not afraid to try stuff like that. So I totally understand that.
They've had this one down the line. Fair ball into left field. And that'll be extra bases. Rounding third is Noah Hull. In under the tag is Hernandez. Barrie with 4. 3 in the second. And a big RBI for the number 9 hitter.
Center fielder number 9,
all three new additions to this team who are really struggling to start the year with 2 hits or less, all being moved around in the lineup. Francisco Hernandez was one that was leading off the first 3 games, being moved to the 9th spot, and it seems like it's already paying off, a double and an RBI.
The bottom third of the order reached base just 3 times in that entire game against the Maple Leafs here on opening night 2 Thursdays ago. So if the bottom of this order can get going, you better believe Matlow will stick with this for a while.
And only once against London as well. And that was a single by Adam Ott, who isn't available tonight.
So manager Gil Rondon has had a word for his young right-hander, along with the catcher Masuki Fukuda, as they will get ready to face Noel McGarry-Doyle here with a runner at second and 1 out in the inning.
Just to build on what you're saying, Ben, the bottom of the order, if you go back to the game against Welland as well, just 2 reaching base, Luis Beltran with a home run, James Anderson with a walk, neither of those in the lineup.
To second, and it's under the glove of Evan Morrison and into right field. In to score easily is Francisco Hernandez on a play that should have been made by Evan Morrison. Well, that's a play he makes 9 times out of 10. First error of the game for the Barnstormers, and a costly one. Barrie now up 5-0. Felt like it was just a matter of time before this Baycat offense gets clicking offensively. This one lined to the shortstop, runner was going, and the easy throw to first is in time for the out. So Brandon Hernandez lines into a 6-3 double play as Noel McGarry-Doyle is doubled off. But Barrie with 4, and they make it a 5-0 lead here at Athletic Kulture Stadium. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
The Collingwood Brewery at 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room, and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers, and go Baycats!
Join us this summer at the Baycats Summer Baseball Camp. See you this summer!
What if a thrift store could change lives? Barrie Families Unite is making it happen. Essential needs support for those families in our community who need it most. Charity gives. Dignity empowers.
Ben Davy, Julius Hern, and Matty Gale at Athletic Kulture Stadium. Packed the park night and a great Thursday night crowd here enjoying a 5-0 Baycat lead. As we head to the top of the 3rd inning, it'll be the number 9 hitter, Owen Constantino, to bat for the Barnstormers.
Constantino's a guy that he struggled his first couple games in the IBL, still held hitless, but he's a guy that people around the league, and especially in this Chatham Kent organization, are very excited about. He provides a great bat from the left side.
Checking out Neil Srivastaba's IBL podcast, the Inside the IBL podcast that Neil does, which is an outstanding production. Definitely should listen to it and check it out from time to time. He mentioned Cosentino as a possible Rookie of the Year candidate as he grounds out here by a score of 4-3. They have really high expectations for what he could provide for the Barnstormers lineup this season.
Yeah, he was the MVP of the Canadian University National Championship tournament with Carleton. He hit 500 in that tournament, 9 for 18 with 5 doubles. So, guys, showing out in the biggest moments in that tournament.
So it's back to the top of the order for Spencer Marcus. Shallow center field. It'll drop for a base hit. Second hit of the game for Chatham Kent. 1 on, 1 out for Evan Morrison.
And that'll extend a streak for Spencer Marcus. He's now 5 straight games to start the year with a hit. Multi-hit games to start the year in all 4 previous.
The IBL Inside Pitch podcast is available on YouTube, and I was listening a few weeks ago. Neil Srivastava was using ChatGPT to get an AI prediction for the 2025 IBL season. Not sure if you happened to catch that episode. And when it comes to AI, you can either consider it or you can discard it entirely. But it had the Barrie Baycats finishing at a record of 29-13 and repeating as IBL champions.
Interesting.
Defeating the Hamilton Cardinals in 6 games. Now, here's what I found very interesting, was that the ChatGPT actually had, I guess it played through, simulated season or whatever, right? It actually had the Welland Jackfish finishing second in the standings, but it had the Hamilton Cardinals facing the Barrie Baycats in the IBL Championship Series.
Very interesting. I could definitely see that happening. I think Hamilton has built itself to the point where it will compete for a title this year.
Well, AI is pretty incredible, and sometimes you have to sort of give it the information that you need to get the outcome that you're looking for.
Exactly.
But everything that came up through this simulation was remarkably realistic. It had standout years for the Baycats by Cesar Rosado and Ryan Rio. All simulation. You still got to play the games, of course, but surprisingly close to the power rankings that the same guys projected without AI. So, I mean, it's not for scientific purposes or anything, but it does give you something. 0-2. And Rosado misses low.
Well, and Barrie will play Hamilton tomorrow and Saturday. It'll be a home-and-home kind of series. At Hamilton tomorrow and back right here at Athletic Kulture Stadium at Saturday afternoon. Mentioned earlier, 4 games in 4 days for the Baycats. That's going to be a tough test with 2 Cardinals games in the mix.
And a lot of excitement about the Hamilton Cardinals this year. Right back to Rosado. Makes the throw to short for 1, over to first, in time for the double play. 2 double plays for Cesar Rosado, 1 in the first, 1 in the third, and the Baycats get off the field after 2.5, 5-0 Barrie. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
No runs, 1 hit.
Hi, I'm Chrissy Fans from Hern and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Bottom 3 at Athletic Kulture Stadium, brought to you by Nido, changing the world through our initiatives.
Malik Williams steps up to the plate, along with Nola Macabrota and Willie Garcia to follow. Another junior Baycats PA announcer taking over here in the bottom of the third for Rob Daniels. Brock Whitson out for his 3rd inning of work, gave up 4 runs in that 2nd inning.
And the bottom of the lineup, wreaking havoc on Brock Whitson in that second inning. Garcia, Clark, Hull, back-to-back base hits to start off.
And one of those 4 runs last inning will be unearned with the error to Evan Morrison. Williams advanced Noel McGarry Doyle in the bottom of the first inning. Barrie would strike first with a 1-0 lead. So the Hamilton Cardinals at Bernie Arbor tomorrow night, and then here at Athletic Kulture Stadium on Saturday afternoon. That's a 4:05 game. Weather looks pretty good this weekend, which will help all the IBL teams for sure who have had some inclement weather lately. This one bounces up to first, but they get Malik Williams by a good margin.
Ben, take this in. The pitching matchup tomorrow in Hamilton will be Frank Garces and Owen Boone.
That is a marquee matchup.
When Hamilton signed Boone, that was the one move I think for them. Aside from like Jonathan Salazzo, Tommy Reyes-Cruz, Fernando Rodney for that matter, Owen Boone I think was the difference maker in my mind because he can provide that. The clear-cut number one in that rotation, a guy that in 2023 led the IBL in strikeouts and then took the year off in 24. So obviously he's healthy and ready to go on a new team.
You're talking about 2 of the greatest IBL pitchers of all time there with that matchup, Boone and Garces. And Fernando Rodney, a former big leaguer, obviously we'll be talking a lot about him, I'm sure, this season. Came out of the Cardinal bullpen in his debut and blew a save, but then got the win. So a bit of a shaky first performance for him, but the Cardinals came back to win that game.
And he hasn't had any high leverage outings since. He's had a couple single inning outings, but nothing where there was a game on the line like that opener against Brantford. But they ended up getting the win. Josh Williams with a walk-off double.
2-1 the count here to Nolan Macabrota. Macabrota 0 for 1 today.
Macabrota, the ball he hit in that first inning, it ended the inning, but it was a frozen rope to center field. It almost caught center fielder Spencer Marcus off guard.
This ball hit to deep left field, but a running catch made by Braxton Hageth. 2 quick outs here for Brock Whitson. Barnstormers back home to play Welland Saturday night at Fergie Jenkins Field. 7:05 first pitch, then they close out the weekend Sunday afternoon in London. Baycats play Sunday as well, and that's in Kitchener at Jack Couch Park.
You could argue that that's Chatham Kent's toughest week of the year. Barrie, Welland, and London on the road with one off day in between. That's the Friday.
That certainly gives them a good test early in this 2025 season, playing those 3 teams. This one hit to short, and the throw to first from Sadler Goodwin is in plenty of time for the out. Baycats go 3 up, 3 down for the first time tonight. We've played 3. 5-0 Barrie. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie.
The only North Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield.
Thinking about doing a renovation but don't know where to find the best prices and quality? Go to Reno Liquidation Depot, where you'll find vanities, flooring, toilets, exterior doors, and so much more. Visit Reno Liquidation Depot today.
Step up to the plate at Park Place. The latest fashion, delicious dining, exciting entertainment. Hungry after the game? Stop by one of their patios or grab a sweet treat for a grand slam of flavors to satisfy every craving. Park Place, where every visit is a home run.
Chatham Kent Barnstormers come to bat trailing by 5 as we head to the top of the fourth. Ben Davy, Julius Hern, and Matty Yale. Nito's Pack the Park night here at Athletic Kulture Stadium. First of 3 free regular season games here at home for the Baycats. That's right, three opportunities for you to come out and watch the Baycats for free. Doesn't get any better than that, and I can't recall that ever happening in this team's history. It's a pretty exciting chance for fans to come out and enjoy the Barrie Baycats.
Yeah, there was one last year, and it was a smashing success. So now 3 of them this year. It's going to provide an exciting opportunity for new fans to come to the ballpark, maybe for the first time, and experience some high-level baseball and the great atmosphere of it as we've seen for the first couple home games this year.
Yeah, no tickets required. Just come on out and bring your family, tell your friends, enjoy a great night of baseball. A really good crowd here tonight at Athletic Kulture Stadium. A called strike, and it's 0-2. Timmy Wagner to lead off the fourth. Wagner was hit by a pitch from Garces in the top of the first inning, one of 2 hit batters. Rosado. Cesar Rosado deals the 0-2 pitch. It's low and away. One ball, 2 strikes. Pitch from Rosado on the way, and it's high. Mentioned that the Barnstormers play the Jackfish at Fergie Jenkins Field on Saturday, and Welland at the moment, the only undefeated team left in the IBL, and they're playing the Brantford Red Sox as we speak, but heading into tonight's action, they're a perfect 3-0. The only team left in the league without a loss.
Yeah, you got that huge win on Tuesday against London.
2-2 from Rosado, and he misses low and away. Count is full.
So you mentioned those games. It's 1-0 Welland in the top of the 5th. Meanwhile, in Kitchener, the Maple Leafs are up 3-0 over the Panthers in the bottom of the 3rd.
Baycats looking for their first win of 2025 here tonight. It's been a long time coming. Here's the 3-2. High fly ball, right field. Willie Garcia sees it, and he's got it for the out. I don't think these Baycats fans would have predicted an 0-3 start to 2025 coming off a 10-0 championship run. But this team has struggled out of the gate.
Well, defense was key, especially in that game against Welland. 4 errors really cost them. There was 5 unearned runs in that game. Unfortunately for Chris Lazar, the Baycats, he ended up getting the loss because most of that happened behind him.
I'm sure everybody around the IBL knows that it's only a matter of time before the Barrie Baycats return to their 2024 championship form. And a little glimpse of that early in the innings of this ball game here tonight with this 5-0 lead.
And you can tell already, maybe some of the tension has eased in the first few innings of this ball game. Now up 5-0. You can tell some of the fielders are a bit more relaxed than they were maybe in the first few home games of the season. See that play by Willie Garcia in right field making that catch. It just looked natural for him. He wasn't really charging in as much as he'd need to in a high-stress situation.
No balls, 2 strikes to Braxton Hageth. Well, it's a short season here in the Intercounty Baseball League, and you don't want it to take too long to kind of get your team into a good rhythm and a good groove. Certainly no one's pushing the panic button after an 0-3 start, but you want to get those wins coming sooner rather than later in this league.
The games at this point in the season matter just as much in the standings as they do in early August.
Now, in professional sports leagues, when a team gets off to a slow start after a championship year, you often hear this championship hangover term get used, and I don't think it really exists here in the IBL, but do you subscribe to that at all in professional sports?
I don't, in the sense that, especially if there's
called strike 3 for Rosado.
If there's a lot of change to a team, it might be a different story, but for a team like the Baycats, yes, there's some changes, some new faces on the team, but a lot of this team is the same. Ryan Rio used the term in our post-game media availability against London, but he used it more of a joking term. That I got from it that he doesn't believe in that, but you could definitely make the argument that it's happening for the Baycats, but they seem to maybe at least get over it in the first few innings of this game.
Here comes Mitsuki Fukuda. He hit into a 6-4 double play to end the first. I think in professional sports, in some leagues, the NHL in particular, the season ends, the Stanley Cup is so late into the summer, and then a couple of months later, the teams are right back on the ice again. There's not a lot of time for a turnaround for these guys to get ready for the next year. And, of course, they're touring around with the trophy and everything like that and making appearances in their hometowns. That's not the case here in the IBL. These guys have lives and other things that they're doing beyond baseball at the conclusion of the season. But I think in some pro sports leagues, it can be a little tough for a team to get out there and get that early groove going sometimes when they've played deep into the playoffs the previous year.
Yeah, 'cause you don't see that in baseball, like in Major League Baseball, because you're done the World Series by early November. It seems like spring training, it's easier to ease into the season in that sense because it's so drawn out now.
That's the first walk from Cesar Rosado tonight, along with 2 hit batters.
Number 4, Anthony Polowick.
Anthony Polowick will bat, the third baseman for the second time here tonight. Sure is fun, though, having all those postseason celebratory appearances, and the Baycats had a couple of them, including a movie documentary premiere in December at the 5 Points Theater when we saw the initial screening of the Diamonds in the Rough championship documentary. Many of these players received their championship rings that night.
And some of them receiving their rings, a couple weeks before the season, so maybe that might play into it a little bit too, especially if you're a team like we've seen it in professional sports, like you were talking about, where you see that the ring ceremony be opening night of the season. I think maybe Josh Mello had that in mind in the sense that let's get the rings out of the way first, so we're not really thinking about it when the season really comes around.
Hit on the ground, right side. The second baseman, Francisco Hernandez, makes the throw to first in time for the out. And the runner is stranded. We've played 3.5 innings. Barrie on top, 5-0. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Highview Contracting Group in Barrie and Simcoe County, offering award-winning hardscape, interlocking, pools, excavation, and more. Call 705-985-7669 or highviewcontracting.ca.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Danielle May Real Estate, supporting the Barrie Baycats and ready to help with all of your real estate questions. What is your home worth? Should you sell now or wait? Danielle is dedicated to your success. The next time you think real estate, think Danielle May.
Welcome back to Athletic Kulture Stadium, bottom of the 4th, brought to you by Nido, changing the world through our initiatives.
Here comes left fielder Tristan Clark to lead it off for the Baycats in the bottom of the 4th inning. On top, 5-0. Baycats got on the board Noel McGarry Doyle in his return, doubling and scoring in the first inning, and a 4-run second, giving Barrie a nice lead midway through this ball game. Brock Whitson, the right-hander, out for his 4th inning of work. Noah Hull and Tyler Plumpton to follow. First pitch over his head. Clark ducks out of the way.
Yeah, it looked like a breaking ball that just got away from him a little bit. Maybe the release point was a bit too far outside toward that third base side for Brock Whitson. Whitson actually strained his UCL last fall.
A high pop-up to the shortstop. Goodwin sees it all the way. He's got it. One down. Let's check in with our sideline reporter, Maddie Gale.
Yeah, Noah Hull is making his 2025 season debut with the Baycats. Hull has been a key contributor to the Baycats, helping them secure the 2024 IBL championship. Before the game, he told me he loves playing here and the connections he's made on the team, and this has definitely helped his on-field performance because of how well the team is able to vibe together. And we can tell this is true from the hit earlier in the game. I'm sure Barry's glad to have him back.
No question about that. Thank you, Maddie. And making an impact right from his first plate appearance, singling and scoring in the second. Hits this one down the line foul. Defensively, his versatility really tested last season as he was given opportunities to play a variety of positions.
Yeah, he was really struggling at third base to start the year, but he settled in once he started to vibe with the team, as Maddie was saying. He settled in. He was being able to move around outfield, corner infield.
Another high pop-up between short and third. The left fielder coming in as well, but it'll be the shortstop Goodwin taking it. Two pop-ups to short here in the bottom of the fourth inning.
The catcher, number 44, Tyler Plumpton.
Veteran catcher Tyler Plumpton. Bunted with a runner on, or two runners on in the second inning. Second plate appearance of the night for him. Brock Whitson kicks and deals. Just missed off the plate. First of 5 regular season matchups for the Barnstormers and the Baycats this year. Barrie won the season series last year 3-2. This was a real competitive, well-balanced Barnstormer club last year. They looked like anything but an expansion team. A very respectable 20-22 record, and really held their own start to finish throughout the entire 2024 regular season.
Yeah, finishing 5th in the standings. They drew a tough opponent, the Red Hot Guelph Royals, in that first round, getting swept, and a series that wasn't particularly close, but you got to admire what they were able to put together in the first year as an expansion team, and it seems like they're excited. They feel like they're better on paper, as many teams are, in 2025.
And they got some wins early in the season, so that helped them stay out of the basement and just really played a respectable season of baseball, start to finish. They were right there in the middle of the pack all season long, and certainly in the playoffs, anything can happen. And with a year of experience now under their belts, they're looking to take the next step. This one to the first baseman makes the relay to Whitson, covering in time for the out. Baycats go 3 up, 3 down, 2 straight innings now. Still lead 5-0 through 4 here at Athletic Kulture Stadium. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
The Collingwood Brewery at 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room, and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers, and go Baycats!
What if a thrift store could change lives? Barrie Families Unite is making it happen. Essential needs support for those families in our community who need it most. Charity gives. Dignity empowers.
Join us this summer at the Baycats Summer Baseball Camp.
See you this summer! Step up to the plate at Park Place. The latest fashion, delicious dining, exciting entertainment. Hungry after the game? Stop by one of their patios or grab a sweet treat for a grand slam of flavors to satisfy every craving. Park Place, where every visit is a home run.
The 5th inning of play is presented by Nito.
Top of the 5th inning at Athletic Kulture Stadium. The Baycats still lead the Barnstormers by a score of 5-0. Julius Hern, Ben Davy, Matty Gale with you. Baycats still looking for their first win, and Cesar Rosado's giving them a respectable start, his first of the season, scoreless through 4 innings.
Yeah, Rosado looked like it was going to be a shaky start for him early in this ball game as 3 straight Barnstormers reached base. He got a double play to get the Baycats off the field and another ending double play to avoid crisis in the third.
Line shot to shortstop. It sinks and goes off the glove of Brandon Hernandez. He can't make the play, and a leadoff base runner is Sadler Goodwin for Chatham Kent.
Yeah, definitely a play that Brandon Hernandez should have had. He makes that catch 9 times out of 10. Might have had a little bit of a tailspin on it. It just sort of flared a little bit. Maybe sank a bit under his glove. We'll see if they put an error on the board for Brandon Hernandez.
They're going to score that an infield hit for Sadler Goodwin, so his first of the game.
Well, it was a hard hit ball, but again, I think he makes that catch 9 times out of 10.
Spencer Morin attempts a bunt, fouls it off. It's just 3 hits now for the Chatham Kent Barnstormers against Cesar Rosado through 4+. And Goodwin, a guy that can really run the bases on first base, so keep an eye on him. Taking a dancing lead at first base. 0-1 from Rosado. Just low of the zone, call the ball, it's 1-1.
Yeah, the 2 Spencers, Marcus and Morin, making a real impact for the Barnstormers last season and looking to repeat that success here in 2025.
Morin is the only strikeout victim of Rosado so far in this game, which is surprising for Rosado, who led the league in strikeouts and hit more batters so far than he has strikeouts or walks for that matter, and walks were a real issue for him last year too, and just 1 so far.
And Morin can be really patient at the plate. He's got 5 walks already this season, and Rosado, a pitcher who tends to give up a lot of walks, but Morin has been aggressive in this at bat so far.
And he's facing a 1-2 count, runner on first, a modest lead. Rosado kicks and deals. Breaking ball again, just low. It's 2-2.
Well, Rosado leaning in and looking at home plate umpire Francisco DiBiase. He really wanted that call with 2 strikes, didn't get it. Let's see if he goes back to that same spot.
Breaking ball has moved much better throughout the course of this game for Rosado than it did in the first inning. It really gave him some trouble, especially with those back-to-back hit batters. But being able to get up a bases-loaded jam was really key. That one catches the inside part of the plate, called strike 3, second K of the game for Rosado.
Well, a key pitch for Rosado. He put it right where he wanted it, and with a runner on, sets up another potential double play situation here, which he's got that inning-ending ground ball twice in this ball game already. And the table is set for another one to get the Baycats off the field in the 5th.
The Baycats only had 1 double play made on defense in the first 3 games, already getting 2 in the first 3 innings of this game. So Owen Constantino steps up. He led off the 3rd inning with a ground out.
Rosado really working that lower part of the strike zone well tonight, which is helping him get those ground balls.
I mentioned that earlier. It seems like his release point is lower this year, first couple outings.
Even if you look at where Plumpton is putting the target, he's putting that glove at the knees or even slightly below the knees.
Plumpton, a guy with very experienced with receiving the baseball. He could frame that one up a couple inches and potentially get a call. So setting up lower might not be a bad idea from his perspective. Constantino facing a 2-0 count. Rosado with the pitch. Catches the inside part of the plate, 2-1.
We weren't supposed to see any more rain tonight, but we do have a bit of a light mist now starting to blow in. Nothing too significant just yet, but had that looming cloud cover throughout this ball game here tonight.
Two-1, well outside and high. Constantino with great approach so far, working up to 3-1, and it's been a key weakness for Rosado. We've seen in the last season a little bit, and especially early on in this ball game, Chatham Kent hitters were doing a very good job of working up to 3-ball counts.
Yeah, control seemed to be an issue for Rosado in that first inning. Whatever issues he was having, he seems to have figured them out.
Good one on first, 3-1 pitch from Rosado. Just a bit high. Constantino draws a walk, so 2 on with 1 out for Chatham Kent here in the 5th.
Center fielder number 19.
And if you're the Barnstormers, here's where you really want to strike in these middle innings. You don't want to let this Baycat lead get any bigger than 5, and you got a good man coming up to the plate here with a couple of runners on here in this 5th inning. Spencer Marcus. 2 base runners aboard here in the bottom part of the order. Now it's back to the top of the order for Chatham Kent.
So a bit of a mound visit here for Rosado and Brandon Hernandez, a shortstop. A bit of interpreting for catcher Tyler Plumpton. First mound visit taken of the day for Barrie. Both teams have now used 1. To bring it back to the top of the order, it's Spencer Marcus. Had a single his last time up, but was doubled up on a ground ball back to Rosado that ended the 3rd inning. But now with 2 on in front of him. RBIs in each of his last 4 games to start the season. Chance to continue that streak. First pitch from Rosado is low and away.
You were mentioning or reminding me earlier, he was the first player ever to sign with the Barnstormers.
He also had the first hit in franchise history, which is, I'm sure, a great honor for him.
Had to be a real thrill for him to, have that honor to his name.
Especially being from Chatham as well, that's going to mean a lot. That pitch is wild, all the way to the backstop. Runners will move up. So 2nd and 3rd now with 1 out, takes a double play out of order.
Yeah, that ball just sort of slipped out of Rosado's hand, definitely not where he was going for. And he'll ask for a new baseball now. That one he'll just throw off to the dugout, get a new ball, rub it up, try to keep that baseball dry. As I mentioned, there is a little bit of mist in the air, certainly some moisture.
He's asked for a new baseball quite often in this game. Seen a lot rolled back to the Baycats dugout. It's 2nd and 3rd now for Spencer Marcus, who was 2nd in the IBL last year in batting average, just behind Jake Sanford of the Welland Jackfish. 2-0, ground ball, first base side foul.
And for the Barnstormers, this is where you really want to make the Baycats pay and make Rosado pay for that wild pitch. There's no double play situation here now with 2 runners in scoring position. And that's what's helped Rosado through this ball game, getting those ground ball double plays.
Well, the interesting thing for me now is we haven't seen the infield defense for Barrie change much in terms of depth. So still playing at regular depth, they might concede that run. 2-1 from Rosado, big cut and a miss from Marcus, 2-2.
Of course, Rosado, having the stuff that he has, can come right at him and try to go for the strikeout here with 1 out in the inning and try to do it that way.
Something that really bailed him out a lot last year. We mentioned earlier, 105 strikeouts on the season for Rosado. Fans really getting behind him here, 2-2. Outside, did he go? The appeal, second base, where Scott Costello is standing, says he did not go, so count is full.
9 times out of 10 when that umpire's at second base, you're going to see him just go along with whatever call the home plate umpire gives, because he's not in the first base position here. You've only got a 3-man umpiring crew, so that almost seems silly to me to appeal to the second base umpire for a check swing.
Might just be out of instinct for Tyler Plumpton pointing to the opposite side of where the batter's standing, but we're going to get a full count pitch. Fans are right back behind Rosado. 3-2, foul back to the screen.
Big at bat here, and this is the Barnstormers' best opportunity since the first inning when they left the bases loaded. Now first base is open here, so if Rosado misses, it's not necessarily catastrophic, but you've got a 3-2 count on him. You may as well come right at him.
He's taking an opportunity here to tie his shoe, kind of settle the mood down, slow his pace down.
He was either tying his shoe or saying a quick word of prayer. Maybe both.
We noticed him working very quickly in that first inning. He's since settled down, as I predicted, but still in some trouble here in the 5th inning. 3-2, 1 out. Spencer Marcus, the leadoff hitter for Chatham Kent up. As Ben mentioned, best opportunity for Chatham since the first inning to put something on the board. The pitch from Rosado. Ground ball, third base side. It is a fair ball. Williams won't have a play. A run scores. So Spencer Marcus, the RBI Infield hit. It's 5-1.
Nothing Williams could do there as that ball pulled him well into foul territory. There was nobody covering the bag at third. And the speedy Marcus was well on his way down that first base line. There was no chance for Williams to make that throw across the diamond and get the out there. So Chatham Kent gets on the board, and that was exactly what they needed. Just get a run here off Cesar Rosado and break that goose egg.
So Spencer Marcus continuing the hot start to his season. He's had multi-hit games in each of the first 5 of his season and RBI in all 5. There's a fly ball out to left field. Drifting back is Tristan Clark in front of the warning track. He makes the catch. Tagging up is Constantino. He will score. So a sacrifice fly for Evan Morrison. It's 5-2.
So important for the Barnstormers to scratch out a couple of runs here in this 5th inning and get those runners in. You don't want to be stranding runners on base all night long.
33, Timmy Wagner.
Still a lot of baseball to go tonight, but they're able to get 2 off Cesar Rosado and can try to trim this deficit down a little further if they can here in this 5th inning.
Still just about half the ball game left, so plenty of time throughout the rest of it for Chatham Kent to keep chipping away at what was a 5-0 Barrie lead. First pitch to Timmy Wagner's a called strike. Marcus still on first, didn't tag up on the sacrifice fly from Evan Morrison. So force play in order to potentially end the inning for Barrie. 0-1, there's a fly ball. Shallow center field, Brandon Hernandez is the one calling for it. He'll make the catch to end the inning, but the Chatham Kent Barnstormers put 2 on the board, their first runs of the ball game. It's 5-2 Barrie as we head to the bottom half of the first inning. You're watching Baycats TV.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Fans from Foreigner Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend.
Baycats up by 3 as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. And this inning is brought to you by Nido, changing the world through our initiatives.
9-1-2 in the Barrie order here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Brock Whitston still on the mound for Chatham Kent. No activity in Barnstormers bullpen. We have seen Brad Grieveson start to warm up for Barrie, so we'll keep an eye on that throughout the course of this inning and the next. Julius Hern, Ben Davy, and Matty Gill with you on this Thursday Pack the Park night, brought to you by Nido. First pitch from Whitson is a wave and a miss from Francisco Hernandez.
Yeah, our friends from Nido really putting on a great celebration of African culture and music for us tonight. Nice pregame performance involving some songs and some dancing, and a real treat for the fans here. They really enjoyed it.
Line shot in the left field, a base hit for Hernandez, his second hit of the game. A nice start for the 5th inning for Barrie.
Definitely is, and Josh Matlow moving him down to the number 9 part of the order, but that's no slight on Francisco Hernandez. They know he can hit. And the Baycats manager, often known for putting a good hitter in the number 9 spot, he was just struggling his first few games, and the skipper knew he had to do something to change this lineup a little bit, and it so far has worked.
We saw Adam Odd there a couple of games ago, and aside from him, it seemed like the bottom third of the order was really struggling, but tonight it's kind of the story of this ball game, especially in that second inning where Barrie got 3 straight hits to start. It was a 4-run inning. Noel McGarry Doyle looking for his second hit of the game, his season debut. Breaking pitches inside.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's the 2, 3, 4 hitters that have yet to reach base tonight for the Baycats, but everybody else has reached with the exception of Tyler Plumpton, who advanced a runner with a bunt.
Throw over to first is bringing Francisco Hernandez back to the bag. He is a threat to steal, but he hasn't had a stolen base yet this season.
Haven't seen Hernandez use that, or Whitson use that pickoff move much tonight.
Flared out to left field into the Chatham-Kent bullpen, foul. Gary Doyle, a leadoff double in the first inning. It was a great start to his season. He ended up scoring in the inning and then reached on an error in the second and was doubled up on a line out by Brandon Hernandez, who sits on deck. Runner goes, 1-1, ground ball, foul, first base side.
I don't know about you, but I kind of got just a little bit of chills when this crowd welcomed back Noel McGarry Doyle here in his return to the Baycats. An unfortunate finish to last season with the injury, and was a big part of this ball club last season despite not getting into any playoff action, but they are so happy in Barrie to have him back, and he received a little bit of an extra special ovation when his name was announced here today.
You could tell the angst amongst the fans for waiting for his return was just as much as the players was, in talking to much of the roster in the course of the first few games of the season, waiting for him to come back, and he finally has. As he strikes out here, a big swing and a miss. First strikeout of the game for Brock Whitson.
Now Whitson has settled down nicely since that second inning. Despite no strikeouts, he was able to retire 6 in a row before that single by Francisco Hernandez to lead off this inning.
He's been very efficient tonight, just 40 pitches through the first 4 innings, and he has a double play in order here with Brandon Hernandez up. Going to throw over to first, not in time.
Now I'll correct myself, he actually retired 7 in a row, including a line drive double play off the bat of Brandon Hernandez, who's at the plate right now.
Hernandez 0 for 2 tonight. Runner goes. The throw from Fukuda over to second base. It's not in time. It's going to skip just in front of the shortstop, Sadler Goodwin. So that's a big stolen base for Barrie, taking the double play out of order.
Absolutely love the aggressive approach by the Baycats tonight at the plate and on the bases. They've been putting the runners in motion plenty tonight, and a big 90 feet of real estate for Francisco Hernandez there.
So 1-0 here from Brock Whitson to Brandon Hernandez, trying to drive in his brother. Pitch is inside.
A lot of excitement about this Hernandez and Hernandez connection here, the middle infield for the Baycats.
Correction, that's the second stolen base of the year for Francisco. He's still dancing at second base with his lead. And that last pitch, he's doing it again. 2-0. Line out to left field. It will drop for a base hit. Hernandez, Francisco getting the wave. He'll hold up at third and go back. Maybe a smart move there. A great throw from Braxton Haggith in left field. So Brandon Hernandez won't be able to drive in his brother, but he'll put runners on the corners with 1 out.
Very smart move to hold up Brandon Hernandez, as Haggith came up with a very good throw from that wet outfield grass. Got his footing and made a good throw. Hernandez got about a third of the way around the bag at third and then put the brakes on in time to get back.
So Brandon Hernandez at first, Francisco Hernandez at third, and Malik Williams will step in looking for his first hit of the game. First pitch to Williams is low. Starting to think we might be able to see a double steal put on by the Baycats here with the Hernandez brothers, but we'll have to see. 1 out might be a bit risky.
Well, the Baycats have been aggressive all night. It wouldn't surprise me.
You can tell both runners are leaning. That one outside to Williams. It's 2-0.
Williams with an outstanding season last year, hitting .318, .302 in 10 playoff games. Consistently hits that 300 mark for the Baycats.
Still looking for his first hit of this season. He went 0 for 3 in his season debut against London last week with a walk. Hitting the 6th spot that game, moved up to third. Runner goes, it's a liner right past the shortstop position. 1 run is in. Brandon Hernandez to third. He moves up 2 bags. And the Baycats add 1 more at 6-2.
Well, this is when the Baycats are at their best. Aggressive base running. Brandon Hernandez in motion. That ensures that he gets to third. And the Baycats really making Brock Whitson work for these outs here in this 5th inning.
As I mentioned, first hit of the season for Malik Williams, and Francisco Hernandez scores for the 2nd time today. Right back in that same position from the previous at-bat, runners on the corners, but this time the lefty Nolan Macabrota steps in. And now starting to see some action in the Chatham Kent bullpen.
Macabrota with a couple of hits and a walk here at the season opener 2 Thursday nights ago. Still looking to reach base for the first time here tonight. A couple of fly balls.
First pitch to Macabrota, and takes it for a ball. Just outside, looked like.
Really sense that Barrie is smelling blood in the water here. With Brock Whitson getting into these middle innings now after retiring 7 in a row. Seeming to run into some trouble here in this 5th.
There's a deep fly ball, right field. At the track, at the wall, it is gone! Nolan Macabrota, a 3-run home run, and Barrie has blown it open again. It's 9-2.
Blood in the water indeed. Macabrota got a juicy one, and he parks it over the right field fence. 5 home runs in the 2024 regular season. He gets a big one here for the Baycats to blow this lead open 9-2.
First dinger of the season for the Saskatoon native, and we're going to get a mound visit here for Chatham Kent. Did see some action earlier in the bullpen as Whitson was starting to struggle. Catalin Morin was warming up, the lefty.
Well, another big bat coming up here now with the bases clear, but Willie Garcia. There aren't too many breaks in this Baycat lineup.
Well, for Chatham Kent, though, positive you get out of that home run is now that it's a kind of a clean slate now for Brock Whitson to try and get himself out of this inning. Second mound visit taken by the Barnstormers in this game. They'll bring out the right fielder, Willie Garcia.
Yeah, it seems like that's what Gil Rondon wants. He just wants Whitson to get out of this 5th inning, and then he can go to his bullpen in the 6th. They've been quiet all game so far, but now starting to get ready in a hurry here in this 5th inning.
Fielder number 4, Willie Garcia.
Garcia will step in, had a hit, and scored to lead off the 2nd inning. Grounded out to short to end the 3rd. He takes the first pitch, just catches the bottom part of the zone. 9-2 Baycats, 9 hits for Barrie in this game, 2 runs on 4 hits for Chatham. That one into the dirt, it's 1-1. Tristan Clark awaits on deck. One. Popped foul out of play. Ben, it seemed like the energy in this ballpark really kind of came alive with that home run. It seemed like people were waiting for Macabrota to finally go deep this year, and he does in this 4th game of the year.
Big moment for the 2nd-year Baycat for sure. Found a pitch that he liked and made no mistake.
1-2. Ground ball, third base side, foul. Just out of the reach of Anthony Polowick.
We mentioned the Chicago White Sox connection with Gilberto Rondon, the Barnstormers manager, and this man at the plate, Willie Garcia, a former Chicago White Sox as well. Little trivia for you here. It was 36 years ago today that the Blue Jays played their final game at Exhibition Stadium, and it was a walk-off home run by George Bell against the Chicago White Sox.
Interesting. That one over our heads, foul. It's 1-2.
I've watched that video many, many times of that walk-off home run, the final hit ever in that ballpark. And the shortstop that day for the White Sox was Ozzie Guillen. And if you watch it, the YouTube video, you can see Ozzie walking over to second base. He pulls second base up out of the infield at Exhibition Stadium and took it home with him.
Wonder if he still has it.
I've always wanted to ask him, and one day I will if I get a chance to meet him.
Great take there from Willie Garcia, just outside. It's 2-2.
I don't know why he felt entitled to take second base, because he's a visiting player that day. I mean,
He doesn't really have a Toronto connection outside of that, as far as I know. That one popped up. It looks playable on the infield. Timmy Wagner is over there. Mitsuki Fukuda will make the catch. A nice leaning catch off balance, 2 down.
that was a very tough grab, and he sort of had to backhand that ball, but managed to put the squeeze on it, and then a little bit of a flip afterwards. Nobody on base. Tristan Clark comes to the plate now. Yeah, somebody has to ask Ozzie Guillen if he still has second base from Exhibition Stadium, because he definitely picked it up and carried it off the field as he walked off. After George Bell rounded the bases, of course.
And George Bell, a player who would end up being teammates with Ozzie Guillen later on.
That's true. Wow. That's an impressive fact that you pulled that one out.
Tristan Clark is a line drive to center field. Coming in is Spencer Marcus, and he makes a sliding catch. What a play from Spencer Marcus to end the inning. But the Baycats add 4 more. They take a 9-2 lead into the 6th inning right here on Baycats TV.
The only North Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield.
Thinking about doing a renovation but don't know where to find the best prices and quality? Go to Reno Liquidation Depot, where you'll find vanities, flooring, toilets, exterior doors, and so much more. Visit Reno Liquidation Depot today.
Step up to the plate at Park Place. The latest fashion, delicious dining, exciting entertainment. Hungry after the game? Stop by one of their patios or grab a sweet treat for a grand slam of flavors to satisfy every craving. Park Place, where every visit is a home run.
Welcome back. Top of the 6th inning, Athletic Kulture Stadium. New pitcher in the ballgame for Barrie. Taking over for Cesar Rosado is Brad Greaves.
Brad, one of my favorite stories from the 2024 championship season is he gets bookend Baycat championship rings. He was with this club in 2005, the inaugural championship, the first, and was not here for the streak of 6 straight championships the following decade, but he returns to Barrie, his second stint with the organization, and gets a ring in 2024.
First pitch is a ground ball right back to him off the bat of Braxton Haggett. An easy play over for the first out of the inning, and I think it's time to check in with Matty Gale.
Up next, we have Chatham native Spencer Marcus. Last week, he delivered a clutch walk-off RBI in the 10th inning, securing a 2-1 victory over Brantford. A former NCAA Division I standout at Niagara University, Marcus continues to be a key player for Chatham Kent, but an interesting connection tonight. He was the first ever signing for the Barnstormers, which is similar on Barrie's side. Jeremy Eulenberg, base coach, was the first official signing on Barrie's side, so both teams with long-term vets involved in the game on the player and coach side tonight.
Line shot out to right field. It's a base hit for Mitsuki Fukuda, his first of the game. So key base runner there for Chatham Kent, also a guy that can really steal bases. Fukuda, you don't really think of a catcher as much of a base stealer, but he sure is. He has 2 already this year.
Well, a 7-run lead, but you still want to keep an eye on him.
You can almost say that 2 spot for Chatham in the top of the 5th maybe angered the Baycats, putting up another 4 in the bottom of the 5th. Anthony Polowick takes a first pitch strike.
If I were to describe Brad Grieveson in a phrase, I think one that would come to mind is, what you see is what you get. He is the real deal on and off the field.
Ground ball foul right side.
He knows his strengths and he pitches to them, and not a guy who's out here trying to impress anybody. He just goes about his business, takes a real professional approach to everything he does. And Brad, remarkable control. He's a guy who's been around for a long time and very rarely gives up walks or has any sort of wildness. He just attacks the strike zone, and if you're a hitter, you know you're going to see something to swing at.
0-2 is up high, and Grieveson's very much a pitcher, not a thrower. Takes that mentality. I think that also comes with his age and his wisdom, but he's also the pitching coach for this team, so he knows how to kind of relay that kind of mindset towards the other pitchers on this ball club. 1-2 is inside.
If you ever get a chance to talk to Brad about pitching, you'll learn so much, because he is a real student of the game. And one of his favorite pitchers I know is Greg Maddox, a guy who, is very similar to Brad as far as his approach to pitching.
Fans getting behind him at 2-2. Flare out to left field, foul territory. It'll drop. The at-bat will continue.
I mean, if you look up some of the historical information and stats of Greg Maddox in his pitching career, go down the rabbit hole and just start looking stuff up. It's truly amazing.
So, Ben, I'm sure you're familiar with the stat, the Maddox.
What would that be referring to?
Touching that in just a moment. 2-2, foul away. A Maddox is a complete game shutout in under 100 pitches.
Incredible.
And Tariq Skubal last week pulled off maybe the best Maddox of all time. And he had a complete game shutout with 13 strikeouts. So the ability to be able to keep his pitch count under 100 with 13 Ks is remarkable. Line drive, shortstop will take it on a hop, go for 2. The throw on to first is in time. Smart play from Brandon Hernandez to get the double play started. That's the 3rd double play turned by Barrie in this game already. We head to the bottom of the 6th, 9-2 Baycats, right here on Baycats TV.
Danielle May Real Estate, supporting the Barrie Baycats and ready to help with all of your real estate questions. What is your home worth? Should you sell now or wait? Danielle is dedicated to your success. The next time you think real estate, think Danielle May.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Highview Contracting Group in Barrie and Simcoe County, offering award-winning hardscape, interlocking, pools, excavation, and more. Call 705-985-7669 or highviewcontracting.ca.
Bottom of the 6th at Athletic Kulture Stadium. It's brought to you by Nido, changing the world through our initiatives. The Baycats lead this one 9-2, and a new pitcher in the ballgame for Chatham-Kent is Catalin Morin.
24-year-old Amherstburg native, second-year Barnstormer, had a 2-0 record last season, 13 games, all of them out of the bullpen for the Barnstormers last season.
It's been a reliable bullpen arm for Chatham-Kent in the first couple years so far of the franchise's history. And he'll start his outing against Noah Hall, or excuse me, Noah Hall.
This is his first appearance of the 2025 season.
First pitch is a big cut and a miss from Hall. Lefty-lefty matchup. Start this 6th inning for Barrie, and that pitch is up high.
Well, normally you'd look at this inning as an important one for Catalin Morin, bottom third of the order, and perhaps a chance to get a clean 3-up, 3-down inning, but the bottom third has really been productive for the Baycats here tonight. They have not been easy outs.
That one inside. Hall takes it for a strike.
Perhaps most notably, Francisco Hernandez moved to the number 9 spot in the order, and he's 2 for 2. 2 runs scored and an RBI double and a stolen base.
1-2 is fouled out of play by Hall, and it seems like that move in particular, it's very drastic. You're moving from number 1 to number 9, where Hernandez didn't really seem to, get down on him. He's really delivered 2 for 2, 2 runs, as you mentioned. Really setting the plate for the top of the order, who really came alive in that 5th inning.
I mean, the season is still so early, and it's a small sample size, but do you look at a game like tonight and go, wow, he's found his swing, let's move him back into the top part of the order, or do you leave him down there at number 9 where he's been so effective tonight?
I think for right now, especially with 4 games in 4 days, keep him where he is. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's a drive out to right field. It'll hang up for Spencer Morin, who makes the catch.
Catcher number 44,
Spencer Morin making the catch, getting it out for Catalin Morin. I'll bring up Tyler Plumpton as sacrifice bunt in the 2nd and grounded out a 3-1 putout to end the 4th. But Plumpton, I think his offensive contributions last year went really under the radar. He hit over 340 last year and started over half the games at catcher. As a fly ball to right field. It's Spencer Morin again, and he will make the grab. 2 down.
It's interesting in baseball how often you see 2 balls hit to the exact same spot, consecutive at-bats. It happened earlier in this game in the 5th inning with a couple of pop-ups back-to-back to the shortstop, and there a couple fly balls down to right field back-to-back off Catalin Morin. Might give you some sort of indication as far as his pitching approach and what part of the plate he's going after.
Well, another righty, it's Francisco Hernandez, who had a great game so far, as we were just mentioning. First pitch to him is in the dirt.
Baycats will play 3 in a row against the Chatham-Kent Barnstormers at Fergie Jenkins Field later this season, and that's the first time in my recollection that the Baycats will play 3 road games in the same park against an opponent.
Well, they had 2 consecutive road games last year, making the trip to Chatham-Kent, but this year, with the unbalanced schedule, you'd see some teams, play 2 at home and 3 on the road, or vice versa. And this year it kind of flips. So Barrie has the 3 road games in Chatham, and they'll have 3 in 3 days. And that's just in a couple weeks. That's a big part of their season coming up.
A lot of players around the league saying, they love playing at a ballpark like Fergie Jenkins Field, but as a visitor, it's not easy. The fans are right on top of you. It's a pretty intimate ballpark. Now, they have made some expansion this year. I'm excited to see it, but apparently some extended seating down the outfield lines. But it's still pretty tight. The fans are right on top of you, it can feel like.
Yeah, they're averaging just under 1,000 per game last year in attendance. I was talking to GM Harry Muir before the game, and he was mentioning that they're adding more seats as soon as next week, about 500 more, getting ready for home games next week.
And it's just a great atmosphere at that ballpark. If you ever get a chance, especially when the Baycats are playing down there, take a road trip. Great baseball road trip to Chatham, Kent. Lots of history in the area and a fun place to watch baseball. Those fans are into every pitch. Dom Donnell has done a great job creating a great baseball atmosphere and a lot of fun on the field and off.
3-2 to Francisco Hernandez, and he's rung up on the outside part of the plate. So Catalan Moore in a big strikeout, goes 3 up, 3 down in the bottom of the 6th inning. We'll have Ben Davy back on the call in the 7th. You're watching Baycats TV.
The Collingwood Brewery at 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers, and go Baycats!
What if a thrift store could change lives? Barrie Families Unite is making it happen. Essential needs support for those families in our community who need it most. Charity gives. Dignity empowers.
Two-thirds of the way through this one, it's the Baycats comfortably on top of the Chatham Kent Barnstormers making their first visit here of 2025. It's a 9-2 Barrie lead. Brad Grieveson back on the mound for his second inning of work. And the Barnstormers will send Sadler Goodwin, the shortstop, to lead off the top of the 7th inning.
New right fielder for Barrie is a Safa Jones, taking the spot of Willie Garcia, who exits this ball game. He was actually the first base coach, or serving as it in the last half inning. So getting a Safa Jones some time. It's his first appearance of the season.
So Goodwin, Morin, and Constantino, the bottom third of the order here for Chatham Kent. Barnstormers with 5 hits in this game. Grieveson with a first pitch strike. First of 4 for the Baycats this weekend. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. Grieveson took a little bit of speed off that one. And out way in front was Goodwin.
Grieveson went 3 up, 3 down the 6th, so good start for him already.
1-2 the count. He got him. Goodwin not happy. He's got a few words to say for the home plate umpire as he heads back to the dugout. It's Brad Grieveson's first strikeout of the ball game.
And just the 3rd as a team for Chatham Kent at the plate. And 2 of those were by this man here, Spencer Morin, who'll step in.
Goodwin thought that ball was up in the zone. He was motioning towards his belt where he thought that pitch was, and home plate umpires generally don't take too kindly to that. You can say what you have to say, but they don't like any sort of demonstrative gestures. Francisco DiBiase calling the balls and strikes here tonight. He's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, when you get to a game that's now 7 runs in the 7th inning, it's easy for maybe some of the emotions to get away from you a bit. So I understand it from Sadler Goodwin's point of view, but you got to kind of keep it bottled up a little bit, at least until the game's over.
Grieveson with a 1-2 record last season, 16 relief innings in 12 games for the Baycats. Picked up a couple of saves Spinning out of the way of that one is Morin.
Surprised that didn't hit him. That ball was inside and kind of towards his feet, but spinning attempt to get out of the way. And
Grieveson was largely used as a closer in his first couple of years when he returned to the Baycats, and then Carlos Sano stepping into that role more so last year. This ball hit high to center field. It'll hang up there, though, for Noel McGarry Doyle. Makes the easy catch. 2 outs.
Designated hitter number 27, Owen Constantino.
Owen Constantino has a walk and a ground out tonight.
scored the second run of the game for Chatham in that 5th inning.
Right side, Francisco Hernandez with the play in time for the out. It's the 3-up, 3-down inning as the Baycats will come to bat after our 7th inning stretch. Barrie on top by 7. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend.
At Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
I'm Chrissy Fans from 400 Chrysler and Barrie Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. This year, we are the community partners of the Barrie Baycats. Community is near and dear to our hearts here at the dealerships and one of our core values, so we can support local and shop local.
Barrie Baycats up by a score of 9-2 here on Pack the Park night presented by Nito, and a very festive crowd here enjoying this lead. And the 7th inning tradition of heave away, which is running a little bit longer than normal. Great crowd here tonight. Lots of energy from these fans, and they are whooping it up, leading by 7. And this man at the plate has brought some excitement to the ballpark here tonight. Noel McGarry Doyle and his Baycats return here in 2025.
It all started with that leadoff double in the 1st inning. You can tell the fans were so excited to have him back in the lineup, and especially leading off with the absence of Kenice Ejo. Perfect fit for that role.
He wasted no time with that double and run scored. Swinging at the first pitch there for a strike.
Why do we have solutions up? Get Nito back up, please.
The left-hander looks in. Here's the pitch. And it's hit weakly to shallow center field. And it'll drop for a base hit. Picking it up is the shortstop, Sadler Goodwin. A little flare right over second into shallow center field, and Spencer Marcus was playing way too deep.
Yeah, a little bit of a scramble out there in shallow center field, and kind of a seeing eye single a little bit for Noel McGarry Doyle, but he'll take it to lead off the 7th inning.
Well, if you're watching tonight on Baycats TV or Rogers TV Barrie, we're happy to have you along enjoying the broadcast, but I've got to tell you, it's way more fun here at the ballpark watching in person. If you've never been to a Baycats game before, we've got 2 more Pack the Park nights here in 2025. Free baseball, no ticket required. July 12th, that'll be against the Brantford Red Sox. It's a Saturday at 4:05. Or you can come on out to another Thursday night game on August the 7th Well, that'll be against Toronto at 7:35. So 3 free ball games here for fans in Barrie to enjoy.
I wonder how much the Toronto fans will take advantage of that August one.
Yeah, they travel well with their team, that's for sure. The Bushmen were up for a ball game last year, and Barrie fans certainly enjoyed having their presence at the ballpark. The July 12th game is brought to you by Zenitech. The August 7th game by Vintage Throne Barber Lounge. Shout out to our friends Daniel and Sabrina and their ongoing support for the Baycats here in 2025. Always enjoy seeing them here at the ballpark. Brandon Hernandez, Noel McGarry Doyle at first base. Here's the pitch. Taking all the way, it's a called strike 1 and 2.
I was wondering how much Noel McGarry Doyle might be tempted to take that extra bag, even with the lefty up, but hesitated a little bit when the start of the windup there from Catalan Moore, and he took that step back towards first base. So maybe a bit hesitant on his part.
Called strike 3. Too close to take. Brandon Hernandez with a slow walk back to the dugout.
That's a great pitch from Catalan Moore and keeping that in the lowest part of the zone possible. And Hernandez really flirting there with taking that pitch, but kind of backfires on him. Called strike 3.
Not going to get too many of those calls with 2 strikes in a 7-run game in the late innings. And here's the big man, Malik Williams. Something about big, strong, right-handed hitters who wear the number 35. Frank Thomas, one of my all-time favorite ball players, wore 35 for the Chicago Whites. We're talking about the White Sox all game
here. I was
here
just about to say, we might need a White Sox counter.
The other is Cleveland Brownlee.
Of course.
Long-time IBL great, London Majors. Looks a lot like Frank Thomas.
It does. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see him on Saturday when the Majors were here. But I'm hoping to see him when the Majors are back at Athletic Kulture Stadium later this year. 40 years old, still kicking in the IBL.
Yeah, he is among those who have the most years of IBL service. I would have to think he's on that short list, along with Brad Grieveson and maybe a couple of others.
Owen Boone?
Owen Boone, for sure. I don't know if Brett Lawson is still in this league, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Byron Reichstein, for talking about London Majors as well. All 3 of those players, all teammates for those 2 championships, 21 and 22.
I promise we won't talk about the White Sox so much on Saturday.
Well, fortunately for that, Fernando Rodney never played for the Chicago White Sox.
That's true. No connection there. But he pitched against them, so I'm sure we can find out something. Just kidding. I mean, there's not much to say about the White Sox themselves, that's for sure.
No, at least not the Rockies.
Great field. Pot foul. Is it playable? No. It's behind the Barrie dugout. Bounces off a fan who scoops it up off the grass and has himself a souvenir. And he tosses it to a youngster. Great move, sir. See, I have no problem with adults going after foul balls. Well, a lot of fans are like, come on, you're a grown-up. What are you doing trying to get a foul ball? But, if you're going to find a youngster to give the ball to, you're making the ballpark experience a good one for that kid. High fly ball, center field. And it could be trouble. Coming over is the right fielder, Spencer Morin. He doesn't come up with the catch. It gets by him. Backing him up is Spencer Marcus. That is a double, and holding up is Noel McGarry Doyle. He couldn't get any further than third because he needed to make sure that ball got down.
I wonder if there might have been some miscommunication out in left center or right center field, pardon me, because it seemed off the bat that was going to be Spencer Marcus's ball, but Spencer Morin ends up being the one calling for it, making a diving attempt, falls in between them, and Malik Williams is the beneficiary of that with a double.
couldn't have hit it to a better spot. That ball hung up there an awful long time, but Marcus and Morin were so far apart from each other, the two of them converged, and I think you're right. There might have been a little bit of a mix-up at the last minute as far as who was going to get that ball. Situation like that, usually it's the center fielder who would call off the right fielder if he was going to make that play. Morin made the sliding grab, couldn't come up with it.
I will say Noel McGarry-Doyle was pretty much at second base watching that whole play unfold, and he still wasn't able to come around to score.
Yeah, he really couldn't get any further than there in that situation, especially with the ball on the right side of the outfield. In case that ball was caught, he'd have to scamper back. So first base is open. Nolan Macabrota to face Catalin Morin. Kick, steals. Hit on the ground, Weekly to first. Wagner runs to the bag for the out. A run scores as Noel McGarry-Doyle makes it 10-2 Baycats.
Right fielder number 30.
Asafa Jones now will bat. He's in Willie Garcia's spot tonight.
Yeah, Garcia going 1 for 3 tonight with a run scored. Asafa Jones making his season debut as well, coming off the bench. And I was talking to him today. He feels really good. He was really battling a knee injury that he was recovering from at the end of last year. Had surgery towards the beginning of the college season. Only played 2 games for Jackson State in the SWAC this year. They lost in the SWAC tournament, didn't make the NCAA tournament, so he is here with the Baycats. He's also going to be playing on the junior team this year as well, so that'll be exciting for him, getting some more play time.
So 3 Baycats making their debut here tonight for 2025. Noel McGarry-Doyle, Noah Hull, and now Asafa Jones. 10-2 Baycats. Pitch low and away. 3-0 the count.
How often is it when you're at the plate making your first at bat in a situation where you come in for one of your teammates and the teammate that you replaced in the order is your first base coach?
Yeah, you make a good point. Don't see that too often, if ever. Taking all the way on the 3-0, it's a called strike.
He's being very patient here, his first at bat of the season.
Temperatures dropped quite a bit here at the ballpark. It's a chilly night now. We were at 15 degrees for our game time temperature. I have to think we're down to about probably 11 or 12 now. Ball 4. 14 we have. Well, feels a little chillier than 14. Overcast sky. And Tristan Clark comes to the plate. Does it feel cooler than 14 to you?
It feels cooler than 14. Like, I'm not uncomfortably chilly, but it does feel like 14's maybe stretching it a little bit.
Gil Rondon out for a chat with his left-hander. We do have some arms getting warm in the Barnstormer bullpen. And it would appear the skipper just wants to give them a little more time to get ready. Of course, Rondon was the pitching coach for this Barnstormer club last season, so he knows these arms well. And the Barnstormers with 4 mound visits left. That's only their second of the game here tonight. See a left-hander throwing.
I saw Yuri O'Connor Yokoyama warming up for the Barnstormers. I think I saw Torin Vasilenic down there a little bit too. But it seems like this will be Morin's inning to finish off, and he's in tough with runners in the corners.
So, runners on the corners for the Baycats. First pitch strike. Clark tonight 1 for 3, doubled and scored in the second inning. The big right-hander waggles the bat. Pitch incoming, and he lifts it high to left center field. Catch is made by Spencer Marcus. That will do it. So the Baycats add a run to make it a 10-2 lead as we head to the top of the 8th inning. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV in Barrie.
Step up to the plate at Park Place. The latest fashion, delicious dining, exciting entertainment. Hungry after the game? Stop by one of their patios or grab a sweet treat for a grand slam of flavors to satisfy every craving. Park Place, where every visit is a home run. The only North Barrie Market, your go-to for homemade meals, catering service, and the freshest locally sourced meat. Get ready for an unforgettable barbecue experience with Barrie Best Barbecue coming soon. All at North Barrie Market, 580 Bayfield.
Thinking about doing a renovation but don't know where to find the best prices and quality? Go to Reno Liquidation Depot, where you'll find vanities, flooring, toilets, exterior doors, and so much more. Visit Reno Liquidation Depot today.
Top of the 8th at Athletic Kulture Stadium, brought to you by Nido, changing the world through our initiatives.
Spencer Marcus will step up to the plate to face veteran right-hander Brad Gravison, who's out here for his 3rd inning of work. Marcus first pitch swinging down the right field line. Long way to go for a safe at Jones, and it lands well out of his reach. Top of the order, Marcus, Morrison, Wagner due up for Chatham Kent here in the 8th. These are big innings that Brad Gravison is giving manager Josh Matlow here in this ball game, allowing him to save some arms for the rest of this weekend. 3 more games in 3 nights coming up after tonight. So certainly you don't want to use up an exorbitant number of bullpen arms in the first of a 4-4. And Barrie with a comfortable 8-run lead hasn't had to do so yet.
It feels like this is going to be Brad's game to close out, and if he were to finish it off, that would be a save.
He's a durable arm. He can give you a lot of innings, especially in a comfortable situation like this with an 8-run lead. Swing and a miss. Dial that last one up a little bit.
Yeah, there isn't even anybody near the Baycats bullpen, so this has to be Brad's game to finish off.
Called strike 3. Spotted that one on the outside corner. 1 down here in the 8th.
The 8th inning of play is presented by Nido, changing the world through our initiatives. At bat for Chatham Kent, second baseman number 44, Evan Morrison.
Morrison singled in the first, hit into a double play in the 3rd to help out Cesar Rosado in a jam, and then a sac fly in the 5th inning. 10-2 Baycats are in the 8th. Pitch is low and in.
Just 5 hits tonight for Chatham Kent Barnstormers. Grevison's really shut them down since coming in for Cesar Rosado in the 6th.
And Rosado did a really good job, too, bouncing back after that potentially catastrophic first inning. He hit 2 batters, left the bases loaded. This one hit on the ground to the shortstop, slipping as Hernandez makes the throw, not in time. But a good recovery by Brandon Hernandez nonetheless.
Really nice effort from Hernandez. It looked like he was going to set his feet and make that play successfully, but slipping and slipping on that potentially still damp infield, or just the lip of the outfield grass there.
Yeah, it's the first time tonight we've seen the wet grass affect a fielder, and I was actually a little surprised it didn't happen sooner tonight. All the rain that we had, pretty much 24 hours of pretty consistent wet weather. across the area prior to tonight's ball game. Showers tapered off around 6 o'clock or so here in Barrie, but that grass is still very moist.
It's kind of interesting. The home opener, we saw how dry the field was, and that really affected play. But the last couple of games, the field's been much wetter and looks better. But
yeah, that was a lively field on Thursday night here for the season opener. Hadn't rained in a while. I saw a couple of really strange bounces off the grass.
We even saw it affect the outfield a little bit. The drought in the outfield grass. Outfielders, in some cases, weren't able to set their feet properly.
1 ball, 1 strike. Grieveson deals. Missed high and away. 6 hits tonight for the Barnstormers, but don't kid yourself. This is still a potent lineup, even with the absence of Seth Strong, who led the charge last season for the Barnstormers. And a change-up for a called strike, a beauty from Grieveson, 2-2.
Yeah, Seth Strong was a no-doubt MVP. And he was the MVP of the IBL. He led the league in home runs. He was flirting with a Triple Crown season, so I'm happy to see him have some success now in the Frontier League, where he's hitting .250 through 15 games.
Grieveson missed. Very close. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 16 homers, 37 RBIs for Seth Strong last year. And those numbers are not going to be very easy to replace, but
also top 5 in batting average as well.
Fouled into the glove, strike 3. 2 strikeouts for Brad Grieveson here in this 8th inning. Strong playing for the Lake Erie Crushers, if you want to keep an eye on him with the Frontier League this season.
He's also walking more than he's striking out in the Frontier League, which is a very good sign.
They really enjoyed having him in Chatham, Kent last season, no question about it, in their inaugural year. He led the charge in every way possible. This is Braxton Hageth. 0 for 2 tonight, and he was hit by a pitch. Brad Grieveson has retired 6 of 7. Kicks and deals. A little off-speed action again there, and checking his swing and holding up his Hageth.
He gave up a hit in that 6th inning, and he got out of that because Brendan Hernandez made a very smart play at shortstop, letting a little flare drop and getting a double play made up.
Barnstormers with only 2 hits since the 5th. Grieveson, second pitcher of the night for the Baycats, on in relief of Cesar Rosado. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here comes the crowd behind Brad Grieveson. Here's the pitch, high. Nice job by Hageth, laying off.
Morrison at first base got a really nice secondary lead. I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe test the arm of Tyler Plumpton behind the plate. Could go here.
Pitch on the way, infield pop-up. Behind the bag at third. Malik Williams will be called off by Brandon Hernandez. Makes the catch. And the Barnstormers strand a runner here on the top of the 8th. Barrie up by 8 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Okay, now we'll do U-tag, throw to Maddie.
Thinking about doing a renovation but don't know where to find the best prices and quality? Go to Reno Liquidation Depot, where you'll find vanities, flooring, toilets, exterior doors, and so much more. Visit Reno Liquidation Depot today.
Domino's, mix and match any 2 or more pizzas and sides for just each. Like when pizza night's more like pizza and lava cakes night, or pasta and stuffed cheesy bread night, or we're gonna need a bigger table night. Mix and match Canada's favorite pizza and more at Domino's.
Highview Contracting Group in Barrie and Simcoe County, offering award-winning hardscape, interlocking, pools, excavation, and more. Call 705-985-7669 or highviewcontracting.ca.
What if a thrift store could change lives? Barrie Families Unite is making it happen. Essential needs support for those families in our community who need it most. Charity gives. Dignity empowers.
Okay.
Y-U-R-I. Yuri O'Connor Yokoyama. And now I'm going to go to the last name, which is Y-O-K.
Now pitching for Chatham Kent, left-hander number 16, Yuri Yokoyama.
I'll give him a 75%.
Wow, generous.
Surprised you got Fukuda early on.
Barrie Baycats ready to bat here in the bottom of the 8th inning, and so are we. This inning is brought to you by Nido, changing the world through our initiatives. And the Barnstormers bring another lefty out to the mound. First, we'll check in with our sideline reporter, Maddie Gale.
Nolan Makibroda is definitely a player to mention tonight. He had 2 fly balls to start the game in outfield and then comes out strong with a home run. He wasn't expecting to play this season back on the Barrie lineup, but clearly that isn't affecting him. The chemistry he has with the rest of the boys is undeniable. I got to chat with him earlier this game, and he told me that he loves to play with this team, and it truly feels like a team for him. He's excited for what's to come after last season's win.
Thank you, Maddie. Yuri Yokomata is the third pitcher of the ball game for the Barnstormers tonight. A left-hander will come into this game and face DH Noah Hull. Barrie up by 8. This one slashed into right field for a base hit. Noah Hull 2 for 4 tonight in his return to the Baycats. Here comes catcher Tyler Plumpton.
A great start to your season if you're Noah Hull, and jumping early off the new pitcher Yuri Yokoyama.
Tyler Plumpton.
Third appearance of the season for Yuri Yokoyama. He's 3 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, and 2 hits. ERA of 3, just allowed 1 in 2 innings pitched in that 11-8 loss to Guelph. But obviously a guy that Chatham Kent's very excited about. He's from Montreal.
First pitch swinging is Tyler Plumpton, fouls it away, strike 1. Plumpton has yet to reach base tonight and is the only Baycat yet to reach base safely, although he did advance a runner with a bunt in a very important 4-run second inning. Left-hander deals, swing and a miss, fastball. Count is 0-2. Brock Whitson started this game for the Barnstormers. Catalin Morin in relief, and now Yuri Yokomata. Here's the pitch. And it's hit in the air to right field, and unable to make the catch is Spencer Morin. Just misplayed that ball. Ended up being a little bit lower than he expected, and it skipped off his glove. Extra bases. Excuse me, it's a long single. Up to second is Hull. Hull had to hold up, assuming that would be a catch. Should have been an easy one.
I wonder if he maybe lost the ball in the lights. You know, it has gotten much darker over the last inning and a half or so. But didn't have any trouble making any plays in the 6th inning. He had back-to-back fly ball putouts to lead off the 6th.
Second error of the game for the Barnstormers. Francisco Hernandez now, who is 2 for 3 today. Breaking ball low from Yokomata. Checks the runners and deals. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Swing and a miss, 2-1 the count.
For Brandon Hernandez, that loss in Welland a few games ago, that ended a streak of his that he had RBIs in every single playoff game last year and in the home opener against Toronto. Since the last 2 games has not driven in a run, so an opportunity here.
You're looking for the number at second?
Yokoyama checks the runner at second. The left-hander deals, and that one's low, and the count 3-2. Great to see the Intercounty Baseball League really tapping into Japanese talent. Some big names in the league this year, including, not the least of which, the first professional female baseball player in Canada, Ayami Sato, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Pitched on opening day for Toronto at Christie Pitts. Bases are loaded now. Yokoyama in trouble here in this bottom of the 8th inning. It's back to the top of the order for Noel McGarry Doyle. And how much would he love to put an exclamation mark on his return to Barrie here tonight? He's already had a big game. He's reached base 3 times, scored 2 runs, and he is dialed in here this evening. First pitch is high. Nowhere to put him with the bases loaded and nobody out. Here's the pitch. Taking all the way, and it's at the letters. The on-deck hitter is Brandon Hernandez. Yokoyama with the pitch, a swing and a miss. McGarry Doyle swinging for the fences there. 2-1.
Words I don't understand.
2-1, swing and a miss, strike 2. Chased a high one there.
McGarry Doyle really trying to put the exclamation point on his first game back with the Baycats this season.
Hull, Plumpton, and Hernandez all on base behind Yuri Yokoyama. The pitch, off speed, it's fouled away. And the at-bat will continue, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Still nobody out, so at least from McGarry Doyle's perspective, just trying to keep this ball off the ground.
An offensive explosion by the Baycats here tonight, an 8-run lead, and they're looking for more. Pitch on the way, high for a ball, and the count is full.
Yeah, 2 4-run innings, one in the second, one in the 5th.
When Yokoyama misses, he's missing by quite a bit here. Let's see on this 3-2. He's got to get a get-me-over pitch here. Here it comes, and it's fouled back to the screen.
Nice aggressive swing from McGarry Doyle. You have that little bit of freedom in this spot with an 8-run lead. You're able to do that a little bit more than you would be in a close game.
It was up in the zone, a little too close for McGarry Doyle to take. He took his hack, and the ball just glanced off the top of his bat. Yokoyama in a jam. Payoff pitch on the way. Inside, ball 4, and another runner will come in and score. Noah Hall is run number 11 for the Baycats tonight.
Shortstop number 11.
Yeah, that breaking ball really got away from Yokoyama, and you mentioned it earlier, it seemed like he was missing by a lot when he was missing, and it also seemed like it was alternating between pitches. Every other pitch would be in and around the zone and be offered at by McGarry Doyle, but the last one getting away from him too much, too far in for McGarry Doyle to not lay off of.
Yeah, that 3-2 pitch was not at all in a spot where McGarry Doyle was about to chase it. And a first pitch strike here to Brandon Hernandez. Brandon struck out with a runner on in the 7th. Pitch is down. 1-1. Plumpton at third. Francisco Hernandez is second. Noel McGarry Doyle at first. Still nobody out in this 8th. On the ground to second. Morrison to first for the out. A runner scores. Tyler Plumpton is the 12th run of the game. Francisco Hernandez to third. Noel McGarry Doyle to second. First base now open. Malik Williams comes to bat.
And even tougher now for Chatham Kent. No double play potential on a ground ball, so still a lot of work to do here for Yokoyama.
The way this lineup is structured, you know, you're not going to walk Malik Williams here with Nolan Macabrota behind him. So, I mean, it's a 10-run game, but somebody else in the order behind Williams, you might think about just putting him on first and going for the double play to get out of the inning. No point doing that, given the man on deck. 12 runs, 12 hits for the Baycats. For an offense that struggled through its first 3 games of the regular season, they have come through and delivered in a big way here tonight. It's the old adage, you wish you could bottle up some of these runs and save them for one of those close-scoring games later in the year.
Well, there's an argument to make. They might need them tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Hamilton, Kitchener on the schedule in the next 3 days.
Foul back to the screen, 1-2. Home and home with Hamilton. We're at Athletic Kulture Stadium Saturday afternoon at 4:05. Come on out to the ballpark. Weather looks great this weekend, so hopefully we'll get a full weekend of IBL games in.
Kind of back-to-back days with washouts last week across the league, so let's finally get back into the rhythm of things.
A high pop-up foul. So a 1-2 count, big pitch coming up here from Yuri Yokoyama. Fukuda sets up outside, and going the other way is Williams. It's scooped up by the first baseman. Wagner over to Yokoyama, covering in time for the out. Another run in for the Baycats. 13-2 now. Really nice play by Yokoyama to get off that mound quickly. He knew he was going to need to be in that spot as Wagner was ranging to his right to glove that ball.
Wagner had to go a pretty long way away from the bag to be able to get to that ball, and Blake Williams saw an opportunity to maybe get an infield hit out of that play. He was hustling down the first baseline pretty hard, but he ends up getting an RBI out of it anyway.
Nolan Macabrota. Takes a pitch. That was close, but it was up high. Nolan Macabrota with a big 3-run homer in this fifth inning of this ball game. Swings and misses. Here's the pitch. It's a called strike. 1-2. Fans don't like that, but with an 11-run lead in the bottom of the 8th inning, the pitcher's going to get that call more often than not. Lefty-lefty matchup. Pitch on the way. Popped up. It should be playable. The third baseman coming over and reaching up and making the grab is Polowick. That'll do it. Baycats get 3 more. It's a 13-2 lead as we go to the top of the 9th inning. You're watching Baycats TV and Rogers TV Barrie.
Join us this summer at the Baycats Summer Baseball Camp.
See you this summer.
Visit Alliance Billiards and Sports in the northeast end of Barrie. A fun, friendly family environment offering pool, darts, karaoke, and live entertainment. Enjoy a large variety of delicious food and drinks on the patio. You'll come as a stranger and leave as a friend. The Collingwood Brewery at 10 Sanford Fleming, producing delicious lagers, ales, and seltzers since 2014. The proud home of the Baycats Brew. Check out their retail shop and tap room and select products at the LCBO, beer store, and grocery stores. Cheers and go Baycats!
Top of the 9th inning we go. Brad Gravison hoping to close this one out for the Baycats against the Chatham Kent Barnstormers. First of 5 regular season matchups for these clubs. It's been all Barrie tonight by a score of 13-2 behind the pitching duel of Cesar Rosado and Brad Gravison here tonight.
This is Yushin Otha making his first plate appearance of the game. Came in last inning defensively for Mitsuki Fukuda behind the plate. There's a lot of defensive changes that we didn't quite catch right off the bat.
So Ota's first plate appearance of this game comes here in this top of the 9th inning. Pitch from Gravison. And he slashes it foul. Hit sharply down that first base side. 2 balls and a strike. Gravison, 44 years old. A rookie with the championship Baycats in 2005. Rocks into the windup. 3-1 pitch on the way. And it's hit to right field down the line. And it's a fair ball. Goes into the corner. Jones is up with it. Now that's going to be a stand-up double. Nobody out here in the 9th inning.
That's the good part about, you're down by 11 runs, but you leave some opportunities for some of your reserve players to get some time on the field, and we saw that right there with Yushin Otha, and we're going to see it right here with Torin Vasilenek making his first plate appearance of the season.
So Vasilenek bats in the number 6 spot. Anthony Polowick was 0 for 3 today. Vasilenek, first pitch taking. That's a called strike.
Pardon me, this is Robert Mackey. Vasilenek is on deck.
Popped high. Playable. Third baseman Malik Williams ranging back on the grass. Reaches and can't come up with it. I'm not sure if he had that in his glove. It looked like he did. He just couldn't put the squeeze on it. Had pretty good footing, but
Not sure if they called this play dead because. Yeah, I think they called that play a balk because Otha's moving from second to third. No movement from the runner.
So maybe that's why Williams just kind of let it go. If that was called by the umpire right away, we missed it up here, but that would kind of explain him just sort of letting that ball fall. Not really treating the play as a normal catch. So the at-bat continues, and there's a pop-up. This one's playable too, but it's to the left of home plate. Tyler Plumpton has that, makes the catch.
Ben, I was initially correct. This will be Robert Mackey coming up.
All right, I'm holding you personally responsible for all of these scribble marks on my scorebook right
trust
now.
me, they're on mine too, so it's all good. Friendly fire.
Well, there's no way this scorecard is going online.
Robert Mackey.
So that was Vasilenic. This is Mackey.
That's correct.
Okay, I understand.
We got it sorted out. Gil Rondon going to his bench here in this ninth inning, trying to get everybody into this ball game. Why not? You made the trip all the way up here from Chatham, Kent. May as well give everybody a bit of playing time. They head home after this and face the Welland Jackfish on Saturday. Grieveson goes with a breaking pitch. It's off the plate with the side. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at third. Foul back to the screen. So that 3-game series in Chatham, Kent is June 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Great weekend road trip. Looking for a summer getaway. Take a trip down the 401 and experience some pretty special baseball at a great ballpark with an incredible atmosphere.
Yeah, 2 night games in that 3-game set, so that's going to be really exciting for folks down in Chatham, Kent, and for anyone making the trip.
And then they play here on Saturday, July 26th. Check swing, they appeal. He went, says Scott Costello. That's the right call in an 11-run game. And Spencer Morin comes to bat.
Right fielder number 25, Spencer Morin.
Spencer Morin actually moved to center field the last inning as Spencer Marcus was removed from the game in favor of Jalen Butcher.
Morin 0 for 3 tonight with a pair of strikeouts. Ota, the runner at third. Grieveson kicks, deals, gets it over for a strike.
Would you believe Brad Grieveson now has more strikeouts in this game than Cesar Rosado?
Wow. Yeah, I would believe that.
1 out away from his first save of the season.
If this game was played in 2024, I wouldn't believe it. But tonight I would. No balls, 2 strikes. The veteran right-hander 1 strike away from finishing this one here with a big K. The 0-2 offering. And it's hit over the second baseman into center field. Leaping effort by Francisco Hernandez. Couldn't come down with it. And Chatham Kent will get their 3rd run of the night. RBI single for Spencer Morin.
Well, that's got to feel good for Spencer Morin. Really tough day at the plate already. He had 2 strikeouts against Cesar Rosado. Flew out to center in the 7th, but right there, good piece of hitting in it just over the glove of Francisco Hernandez at second base.
Well, the bus ride back is never enjoyable when you're on the wrong side of a lopsided score like this one tonight, but at least getting on base gives you some sort of positive that you can hopefully take with you out of this ball game, and Morin keeping this game alive for the number 9 hitter. Owen Cosentino.
3 runs on 8 hits for Chatham Kent. Meanwhile, Barrie's put up 13 on 12. 2 errors apiece.
Here's the 1-0. Down the first base line, and it'll be gloved cleanly. The toss to Grieveson is in time for the out. Nice play by Brad, getting off the mound to cover, and he takes the toss from Macabrota, and he's in the right spot at the right time, and that'll do it. As the Baycats cruise tonight to a 13-3 win over the Chatham Kent Barnstormers.
Yeah, few crooked numbers in this game for Barrie really put them over the edge. That they got started right away. Noel McGarry-Doyle, his season debut, coming up huge with some offense right away, a leadoff double. Then the second inning, 4 runs. Back-to-back hits from some of the new additions to this team, including Noah Hall making his season debut, and then another 4 spot in the 5th, and then 3 more in that 8th inning. Not to mention that huge home run by Noah Macabrota to really kind of break this game open. They cruise to a 13-3 win.
Cesar Rosado the win, Brock Whitson the loss, and our final tonight, the Baycats over the Barnstormers by a score of 13-3. We're back here on Saturday afternoon when the Hamilton Cardinals will pay their first visit of the season to Athletic Kulture Stadium. 4:05 first pitch. We hope to see you then. For Matty Gale and Julius Hern, I'm Ben Davy. Good night from the ballpark in Springwater.
Saturday afternoon for another Paul Sackman Motors Junior Baycats Day at the ballpark. First pitch is at 4:05 p.m. against the visiting Hamilton Cardinals. You can get your tickets at BarrieBaycats.com or at the box office. Thanks so much for coming out.